Chapter 76, Army Begin. The Book of War was made by the Master of War. The Master of War became famous after many battles. He was really strong, and in an era long, long ago, he was given the term, Elite 10. Elite 10 were the 10 strongest experts in the skies and lands. All of them were merciless, and it was best if one didn't offend them. To date, the 10 books of heaven passed down by the Elite 10 were dream items. Acquiring the books of heaven would give one invincible powers. Xiandao looked at the stubborn Book of War and said helplessly, "I will help you pay attention to his tracks, but I won't promise anything." Book of War said, "Just pay attention to me. I believe that he is still alive and he will definitely appear. He isn't a person who can remain silent." Xiandao looked at the Book of War. He was really strong, but at the same time, he was also really weak. He was strong to outsiders, to Michael, to Tian Guangming, to Gabriel. But he was really weak to Xiandao. The Book of War belonged to the Bank of the Universe, and the Bank of the Universe belonged to Xiandao, which was why he could easily defeat the Book of War. But he didn't do that. As a master, he had to treat his subordinates respectfully. If he wanted them to work hard, he had to give them enough dignity. The master before Xiandao was a negative example, so Xiandao had to be wary of falling into the same path. This was why he agreed to the Book of War's request. "Then, you should make preparations to bring them to the Hell Sky. I have given them a name, so just use this name for the army." "What are they called?" the Book of War asked. "Burning Legion." Xiandao laughed confidently and said. This name paid respect to a game he played in the last life. The Burning Legion inside, apocalyptic calamities were things that he remembered clearly. Burning Legion. They, themselves, are flame giants, that is really suitable. The Book of War agreed. "I will set off now. I will bring them along. Give me time and I will help you train an invincible army." The Book of War said confidently. Those were exactly the words that Xiandao wanted to hear. "I will wait for your good news." "Great. The first meeting of the Bank of the Universe will end now. We have settled the problem of the mini Flame Kings, let's disperse." Xiandao clapped his hands happily. As long as he didn't need to take out more treasures and God source to feed them, anything else would do. The Book of War took up the matter to bring the mini Flame Kings to Hell Sky. He was self-sufficient and didn't need Xiandao to provide anything. He would also be able to use his own strengths to train an invincible army. What Xiandao had to invest was just a promise. He was really satisfied with this trade, it was a really successful one. The Book of War and 7 left together to bring away all the mini Flame Kings. Xiandao waved his hands, "All of you go help. Tell the 10,000 of them to listen well, train well, and come back soon." Battle Angel Michael, White Emperor Tian Guangming, Archangel Gabriel, and Heaven Heart all went over to help. Xiandao waved his sleeves and the meeting table disappeared. He joyfully headed towards the 10,000 country book depository. "My foundations are too weak. Although I have the omnipotent talent, I don't understand the history and legends of the world." Xiandao was really wary. He couldn't be arrogant and had to remain hungry. This was also why he had to redeem the 10,000 country book depository. These millions of books were enough for Xiandao to make up for his weaknesses. After Xiandao sent the Book of War out, he became the manager of the 10,000 country book depository. Although it was said that he was the manager, he didn't interfere with anything. If he had needs, he would call for people to help him. The 10,000 spirits here were willing to help him. "Master, here are the historical books and books about legends, a total of 3 million. A muscular spirit walked over, carrying many books. This was a book spirit that birthed from a body training technique. Xiandao smiled and told him to put it down. He quietly flipped through it. His omnipotent ability was in full effect at that moment. Large amounts of knowledge surged into his mind and Xiandao instantly comprehended and learned it all. Using this talent to read books was just cheating. Xiandao was absorbing and memorizing these books in just seconds. He started to understand the history and legends of the world. After finishing history, Xiandao continued to learn cultivation. There were the most martial arts books in the 10,000 country book depository. Various ones had given birth to spirits, forming new races. This was a really huge sum of money. Xiandao slowly read them all. There were many types, some not weaker than the big river sword energy and some even stronger than that. There were some that even exceeded the standards of the 9 skies and 10 lands. If Xiandao had enough time, he wanted to do the same thing and burn 500 years to cultivate. On this side, Li Xiandao was cultivating hard. Even if he couldn't successfully cultivate them in a short time, just remembering it was of great help to him. In the future, when he had time, he would burn 500 years or 5,000 years to slowly comprehend them in the ocean of time. Time passed really quickly as he learned everything, and unknowingly, he spent 15 days in the 10,000 country book depository. 15 days. The Book of War brought the 10,000 mini flame kings over to teleport them to another region. They started to sneak into hell sky. As for flying, how could a book fly while bringing 10,000 mini flame kings? Michael and the others went to send them off before slowly heading back to improve themselves. 7 remained in the Bank of the Universe and would occasionally find Li Xiandao, who was engrossed in his books. 7 was really satisfied when she saw this. The master of the Bank of the Universe had to always be hungry to improve. 7 didn't interrupt him and didn't enter the 10,000 country book depository for the next 2 weeks. On the 16th day, she had no choice but to disturb him. There was a guest. Li Xiandao had to receive the guest, not 7, as she was just a supporting character. When Li Xiandao was in full focus, 7 said, "Master, there is a new guest." Li Xiandao raised his head and was a little stunned. Millions of words surged in front of his eyes from the books that he had just read. Li Xiandao closed his eyes and suppressed them down before exhaling a long breath. He stood up and stretched. "Who is it?" Li Xiandao walked out of the 10,000 country book depository and casually asked. 7 smiled, "It is someone you are familiar with." Li Xiandao was stunned, "Someone I am familiar with? I am not familiar with anyone." Everyone Li Xiandao knew was in the Bank of the Universe, so who else would he be familiar with? Chapter 77, 7's Ante. Li Xiandao was now in the trading hall of the Bank of the Universe. He was neatly dressed along with the dark gold mask and was waiting for his acquaintance. In truth, he couldn't remember that he had any. Li Xiandao, who had just come to this world, knew few people and even fewer people knew him. Acquaintance? Who could it be? Da-da-da. Footsteps sounded out and a person walked into the trading hall of the Bank of the Universe. Her body was petite and well-shaped. Her skin was stone white and she was more beautiful than anything in the world. Li Xiandao instinctively looked at 7. This woman was as beautiful as 7, which really shocked him. Li Xiandao had many ways of judging beauty. But all these methods were based on first appearances. At first glance, he was shocked. He saw her walk closer and closer. His heart couldn't help but jump. He was really impressed by her beauty. In his eyes, she was a top beauty. Without a doubt, this girl and 7 beside him were of the same type. Apart from that, there were people who made one feel comfortable at first glance. People who made others feel close. People who made others feel warm at first glance. And people who gave off a cold aura. Wait. There were endless types of beauties in the world and everyone had a different yardstick. But there were just too few who could stand high above everyone's perception of beauty. Just one look and one would think that the person was beautiful. This description was perfect for this girl. Li Xiandao looked closely and he was sure that he didn't know her. How could she be his acquaintance? Li Xiandao looked at 7 with a questioning expression on his face. 7 smiled. She was extremely sweet and made one feel refreshed, but she didn't reply to Li Xiandao. "Sit down and say what you want to trade." Li Xiandao said calmly. This girl wore a red, long skirt which showed off her beautiful body. She sat down upon hearing those words and her white, long legs were revealed. But Li Xiandao didn't glance and just looked at her coldly. She felt that this girl was a natural beauty, each action and smile would draw people's attention toward her, to investigate. "I want to revive my mother and my father." The girl said softly, her voice was really soft and gentle. Li Xiandao asked, "Who is your father?" "Wu Tianyu." The girl said a name. Li Xiandao looked at her with a weird expression. "Wu Tianyu's daughter? Wu Tianyu's daughter? Wu Tianyu's daughter?" Li Xiandao felt like there was something wrong with his ears. How much time had passed? Had even a month passed? Wasn't Wu Tianyu's daughter just born? How did she become so beautiful and alluring? Li Xiandao looked at 7. 7 nodded her head. What she was saying was obvious, that this girl was his daughter. Li Xiandao was confused. "I remember when your father came to me to trade, you were only in your mother's tummy. Such a short time has passed and you've already grown so much. Even if this was a magical, Xianhuan world, she couldn't grow so randomly, right? That's right. I was born on a peak on the fringes of Dali dynasty. I grew quickly after I was born because I had the nine-tailed sky fox bloodline. My mother also transferred her source to me, which was why I was able to grow so quickly in such a short time. Wu Xian'er nodded her head. Her expression was one of sadness. Li Xiandao touched his chin. You just said that your mother also died. Right, we have been fleeing and mother was chased and hunted by the fox race. In the end, we were unable to escape, so she could only give me her source to help me grow and not get noticed by the fox race. She lost her life and went to find my father. Wu Xian'er's face was a little cold. It was obvious that she was filled with hatred. Li Xiandao said softly, you want to revive them, but what price can you pay? When he said this, Li Xiandao felt a little awkward. He had just activated Wu Xian'er's father's corpse and lent it to the Flame King. If he wanted to be revived, he had no body to be revived in. Wu Xian'er said with a firm gaze, my talent. My nine-tailed sky fox talent. I know that the Bank of the Universe is really strong and can do anything. I will take my talent in exchange for my parents. Wu Xian'er looked at Li Xiandao in anticipation. Li Xiandao nodded. Your talent is strong. Once you mature and cultivate, you will become a celestial sooner or later. But that is at the mature stage. Wu Xian'er frowned and seemed a little dejected. What do you mean? If you want to exchange for your parents, we can sign a contract that lasts 100 years. In these 100 years, you will work for me and I will ensure that your parents' corpses won't decompose. 100 years from now, when you mature, then we can trade. Li Xiandao explained. He had no choice. He had loaned out Wu Tianyu's corpse and he couldn't get it back, so he could only delay her. Moreover, Li Xiandao didn't have the ability to revive others now. Wu Tianyu and his wife died and who knew where their souls went? Li Xiandao had to wait till he became stronger to revive them. Can you really do it in 100 years? Wu Xian'er looked at him in anticipation. Li Xiandao nodded, of course, I can promise you. Li Xiandao made a firm statement. Seven took a contract and placed it on the table for her to see. She looked at Ti carefully. Especially the part where it said to revive her parents, she looked at it 3 times to ensure that it was correct. I will sign. Wu Xian'er signed her own name. Her handwriting was neat and beautiful too. Li Xiandao nodded, since you have signed it, from now on you are under me. You have to obey all my orders. Her face turned red and she bit her red lips, saying softly, I will listen. Not bad. You are really beautiful and you are also talented. From now on follow 7. She will take care of you. Li Xiandao pointed. 7 and Wu Xian'er both looked at Li Xiandao in shock. 7 didn't expect that Li Xiandao would pass Wu Xian'er to her. This was the extremely beautiful nine-tailed sky fox. All guys would dream of them. 7 thought that Li Xiandao recruited Wu Xian'er because he wanted to sleep with her. Even Wu Xian'er thought the same thing too. Especially when Li Xiandao said that she would listen to him, she really thought that she had to sleep with him. But who knew that in the blink of an eye, Li Xiandao would toss her to 7. 7 sized Li Xiandao up curiously and wanted to confirm whether or not he had problems with a certain function of his. Li Xiandao's embarrassment turned to rage. He walked beside her and said softly, she might seem well developed, but she is only a few months old. She is a baby. 7 smiled and whispered right into his ear, don't you guys like such young girls? Li Xiandao's face turned red and he said right away, what you guys? Don't stereotype us. That is just a portion of the shameless and immoral guys. Are you one of them? 7 gave a suspicious smile as she looked at Li Xiandao. Li Xiandao coughed as he didn't want to reply to that. From now on, apart from my orders, you have to listen to Auntie 7. Li Xiandao said to Wu Xian'er. 7 instantly stared at Li Xiandao in annoyance. This was the first time Li Xiandao saw her expression turn to rage. It was a little terrifying. Chapter 78, 100 Watches. Li Xiandao spent 7 consecutive days reading in the 10,000 country book depository. 7 didn't worry about him or disturb him for those 7 days. They didn't even say a single word. They treated each other like air whenever they bumped into one another. On the contrary, she had a good relationship with Wu Xian'er. They called each other younger sister and older sister and were really warm to one another. No matter how dumb Li Xiandao was, he knew that it was because he made 7 unhappy. Thus, he just stayed within 10,000 country book depository and didn't head out. Since you don't want to see me, then I won't find you either. Scoff. The main body of the 10,000 country book depository was a giant mountain. The insides of the mountain were dug out and numerous books roamed all about. It was like a small-sized nation. The book spirits didn't need to eat or excrete waste. They absorbed energy from heaven and earth and took in nutrients from words. The tens of millions of scrolls and books in this giant 10,000 country book depository were enough for them to live the rest of their lives without worry. This was why during the period when the 10,000 country book depository was pawned off, they continued to develop and grow well. Xiandao quietly remained in the 10,000 country book depository and didn't let people find books for him. In the cultivation techniques that he saw before, he learned a technique called one thought 10,000 Buddha. With just one thought, there would be 10,000 Buddhas. This was the core of the cultivation technique. Each person's mind would birth numerous thoughts every second. Each thought would be 10,000 Buddhas, and whether or not these 10,000 Buddhas would be able to comprehend anything would depend on one's control. Even if a normal person could birth 10,000 Buddhas, they wouldn't have the ability to instantiate them. One had to have strong cultivation of the mind, to control one's desires, one's thoughts, and one's cravings. The Buddhists mentioned the Buddha country in a poem. One Buddha country had tens of thousands of believers. The Taoists said that the space of a mustard seed could contain a whole world. One's thoughts were much better than Buddha countries and mustard seeds, so if one could make good use of them, one would be really efficient. After Xiandao understood the technique, he started cultivating it right away. With his talent, he was able to complete the cultivation in just minutes, from learning it to getting familiar with it. In 3 days, he had a good grasp of it, and in 7 days, he received great results in it. Now, Xiandao used this technique to form 100,000 Buddhas. The 10,000 thoughts were split about the 100 levels of the 10,000 country book depository. There were many Xiandaos on every level. Some were carrying books and reading enthusiastically. Some lowered their heads and frowned as they looked at the deep and difficult books. Some smiled as they admired the beautiful books. Some sat on the ground, dancing about in excitement. Xiandaos would have 1,000 thoughts, much less 100,000 of them. The book spirits in 10,000 country book depository were shocked when they saw it at first. Some of them even passed through his body and realized that it wasn't a physical entity. Xiandao's main body closed his eyes and accepted the information he received from all around. He studied them and compartmentalized them all in his mind. He was really efficient, helping to raise Xiandao's foundations. He became even stronger. On the surface, his aura became more retracted, like that of a gentleman. He wore a robe and his short hair was tied into a small bun. This lasted for a month. 7 finally came to find Xiandao. Although she was still a little angry, she knew the importance of things. Xiandao spent a month in the 10,000 country book depository and was immersed in the ocean of knowledge, but the Bank of the Universe needed to be expanded. The Bank of the Universe hadn't opened for a full month, which was why 7 came to find Xiandao. When she saw him, she was stunned. At this moment, Xiandao's aura was totally different from before. After reading so many books, he didn't seem to have changed at all, but the aura he gave off was different. This surprised 7, who sized Xiandao up with her beautiful eyes. "Master!" 7 shouted. Xiandao opened his eyes, and at that moment, the 10,000 thought Buddhas returned to Xiandao's body like birds returning to their nest. Xiandao exhaled a breath and asked, "Yes. The Bank of the Universe hasn't run for a full month." 7 said helplessly. Xiandao asked with a weird tone, "A month has passed." He was engrossed in knowledge and had lost track of time. If 7 hadn't interrupted him, Xiandao would have continued until all the books in the depository were in his mind. 7 nodded and said seriously, "You need to be a good owner." Xiandao thought about it and said, "When I redeemed the time hall I had 10 spots, so now that I have redeemed 10,000 country book depository, what rewards would I get?" 7 said, 100. Xiandao said in satisfaction, "Not bad, with 100, we would have a large number of trades. Not only that, but we will also not be restricted by Dali land and will be able to enter the heaven and earth battlefield." 7 smiled. "Can we enter the other worlds?" Xiandao's eyes lit up and said. 7 said, "To enter the other lands you need to open up the paths between world, otherwise, we won't be able to." Xiandao asked, "To open the paths what do we need?" Create a world-grade teleportation formation. 7. Explain to Li Xiandao in detail. World-grade teleportation formation requires blueprints and various materials. After we gather them, we will be able to craft it. 7 said. What about the blueprint? Li Xiandao reached out. We loaned out the blueprint and he is not in Dali Land, so it would be hard to find him. 7 said helplessly. So, I can only trade in Dali Land and Heaven and Earth battlefield now. Li Xiandao muttered. 7 nodded her head. That's still okay. At least the range that we can trade has increased. I am invincible in Dali Land and no one can stop me. Truthfully, Dali Land is too secluded and it has so few resources and too many mortals. Li Xiandao shook his head helplessly. For example, in Taikang City, where Li Xiandao had transmigrated to, a Dao pursuing realm person could be an elder. If this was in another land, Dao pursuing would only be a small disciple. Master, you can toss the watches out. 7 reminded. Li Xiandao waved his hands and 100 red watches appeared in front of him. Li Xiandao smiled, find a suitable guest. The location will be the Heaven and Earth battlefield. Li Xiandao wasn't prepared to toss it in Dali Land. Truthfully speaking, he looked down on Dali Land now. No wonder they were unable to make a comeback. People who became strong left right away to head to other places. Without experts and resources, how would it even develop? Right, how are you and Wu Xiener? Li Xiandao asked. 7 squinted her eyes and said casually, really good, we are very happy. That's good. You are older than her and are her senior, so take care of her. Li Xiandao said that on purpose. It was 7's fault for ignoring him previously. Kakik, kakik. 7 only laughed but the laugh was really frightening. Li Xiandao felt like he shouldn't continue joking about this, so he kept silent and left right away. He shouldn't have done so next time as 7 looked really frightening. Chapter 79, Long Mixu. In the Heaven and Earth battlefield. A bunch of people were hunting down a girl. This girl looked ice-cold and she ran swiftly. While running forwards she would occasionally turn behind with an ice-cold expression. All of you are so bold. I am the sister of the Emperor and all of you actually dare to hunt me down in the Heaven and Earth battlefield, all of you deserve to die. The girl's eyes shone a cold glow and she was extremely furious. The girl wasn't old but she gave off a righteous aura. The way she dressed made her look capable and experienced as well as making her movement seem really chic and elegant. Especially her long, thin legs. But the deep blade marks exposed her situation. She was injured and being hunted down. It was not known whether she would be able to survive this. My dear sister, stop struggling. As long as you agree to drink the magic potion and listen to my orders, I won't harm you. She heard a delighted laugh which caused her expression to change. Long Baishuan, you are sick in the head. I am your sister. The girl scolded fiercely with a cold expression on her face. She stopped running. She looked around and was in deep thought as more and more people surrounded her, blocking all her paths to escape. It was impossible to escape. Her only hope was. Long Mixu, do you know that there is no such thing as family in a battle for the throne? It is normal for siblings to fight one another and kill one another. The battles are extremely gory, so do you really think that I would let you off just because you are his elder sister? Long Baishuan walked over slowly. He was really tall and spoke with a cruel tone. Read more chapter on vipnovel.com. He was young and wore really noble-looking clothing. Under the watchful eye of dozens of people, he walked out slowly. 10,000 Dragon Empire's 7th Prince, Long Baishuan. The person he faced was his sister Long Mixu. I am your sister. Your mother gave birth to me. Long Mixu's tone was filled with sadness. Sister. You have the shame to talk about that. Long Baishuan stared at Long Mixu with a vicious expression. I am your brother and I want to fight for the throne. You didn't support me and you went to support the crown prince. What is he? He was just born a few years earlier, but you are my sister. Long Baishuan shouted in rage. Long Mixu smiled, you want to fight for the throne, but why don't you look at what ability you have to fight for it? The crown prince has 3 top powers supporting him and 1 celestial artifact. He has people on his side from the other 10 lands. What about you? What do you have? Long Mixu asked in rage. In the end, you just look down on me. I am just nothing in your eyes. But now this younger brother with nothing has managed to stop you here. Long Beishuan said in delight. Long Mingzu looked at the 30 Heaven Essence Realm experts around and asked helplessly, our mother came from a family of scholars and there were no experts there. How did you get so many people to support you? Since you, as my sister, don't support me, then, of course, I have to find others who do. Long Beishuan smiled with pride. Let me introduce, the warriors of Daimei Holy Land who are all my subordinates now. Daimei Holy Land has given me their full support and although we can't compare to the Crown Prince's 3 families, I am not weak anymore. Long Mingzu was speechless, so, it was the demon sect Daimei Holy Land causing problems. What I don't understand is how you knew that I would enter heaven and earth battlefield. Long Beishuan laughed, sister, my dear sister, you let your intelligence blind you. Her eyes shone and her mind continued to work and analyze everything that happened. The Crown Prince's men betrayed you and revealed your tracks. Now, you have nowhere to run and you won't be able to make a comeback. Long Beishuan smiled proudly. Long Mingzu closed her eyes and sighed. It hurts all right. You silly girl, I told you that I am your younger brother and we have the same mother. We have the same blood and came from the same womb, but you don't support me. You went to support the Crown Prince and now he betrayed you and fell into my hands. Does it feel bad? Long Beishuan said loudly. I feel really bad but that is not the reason. Long Mingzu opened her eyes and stared sharply at Long Beishuan. The sharp gaze caused Long Beishuan to feel a little uncomfortable. Long Mingzu psychologically impacted him too much in the past. His sister always had things planned out and was always a confident person. Although he was really confident this time, after seeing her gaze, his body shuddered. I feel really bad because both of us actually fell for his plan. Long Mingzu laughed self-mockingly. Long Beishuan frowned, what do you mean? My coming here was a really secretive matter and very few people know about it. You coincidentally caught someone under the Crown Prince and happened to find my tracks and then coincidentally came to catch me and force me to surrender? Don't you think that you fell into a trap too? Long Mingzu smiled coldly and asked. Long Beishuan was stunned. At that moment, he felt a cold shiver down his spine. Under the sunlight, he actually felt cold. With Long Mingzu reminding him, Long Beishuan realized that he had been tricked. So what if I fell for it? If you drink the potion, you will have to follow my orders and my plan will succeed. Naturally, the Crown Prince's plan will fail. Long Beishuan gritted his teeth and insisted. Since he already did it, then there was no way back. Long Mingzu smiled in disdain, do you think you can make me drink it? Of course, I will force it down your throat if I have to. Long Beishuan shouted fiercely. Then, you are wrong. She smiled in delight. She looked around and didn't panic at all even though she was surrounded. Although Long Mingzu was only at peak Heaven Essence Realm, she came into the Heaven and Earth battlefield to break through into Saint Realm. While being totally surrounded, she couldn't escape and she couldn't beat them, but despite this, she didn't panic at all. My dumb younger brother. After I entered the Heaven and Earth battlefield, I had a fortuitous encounter. This is why you will definitely fail. Long Mingzu took out a red watch and gave an alluring, attractive smile. What is that? Long Beishuan asked solemnly. It is something that can make your plan fail and cause the Crown Prince's plan to fail too. It is a treasure. Maybe I didn't believe it in the past, but now I do. Long Mingzu smiled confidently. Long Beishuan frowned and scolded, take her down. Pay attention to that red thing. Yes. 30 Heaven Essence Realm warriors charged forwards to deal with Long Mingzu. But Long Mingzu just clenched her fist and said calmly, goodbye, my dumb brother. Chapter 80, I want to become an empress. Shua. When Long Beishuan saw Long Mingzu, who crushed the watch, disappear, he was stunned. Where is she? Where did she go? She was just here, and in the blink of an eye, she disappeared. Find her, otherwise, all of us will have to die. Long Beishuan hollered in rage. He panicked because he knew his sister really well. With much difficulty, he was able to get this chance, and if he didn't make use of it, what awaited him was his sister's warm treatment. The Bank of the Universe. All Long Mingzu saw was white and she appeared in a big hall. In it was a mysterious expert, who wore a dark gold mask. Beside the mysterious guy was a girl who was as beautiful as a fairy. Long Mingzu didn't worry about the pain in her back as she asked solemnly, who are you all? You are in my Bank of the Universe and you ask who we are. Xiandao said calmly as he wore the mask. In the Bank of the Universe, anything can be traded. Long Mingzu gulped. She felt like she had gotten a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Li Xiandao said casually, anything can be traded, but the prerequisite is that you have enough to offer. Tell me, what do you want to trade? Miss Long Mingzu. Li Xiandao asked. How do you know my name? Long Mingzu was shocked. I know the past of everyone who enters the Bank of the Universe, so it isn't surprising that I know your name. Li Xiandao said calmly. Long Mingzu nodded his head and was thinking that since the Bank of the Universe was so strong and had so much ability, it wasn't surprising that they knew her name. She walked in front of Li Xiandao and sat down. She straightened her back and didn't dare to rest on the chair. With her recovery speed, the wound on her back had just started to close. If she rested on it, the wound would tear. The blood flowing out was just a small issue, but she was more worried about offending Li Xiandao. What do I want to trade? After Long Mingzu sat down, her mind suddenly went blank. How did she not know what she wanted to trade? She wanted many things. She wanted her cultivation to break through to Saint Realm. She wanted to get out of danger. She wanted to take revenge on the Crown Prince and her stupid brother. She also wanted to let her sexist father see that his daughter was stronger than all of his sons. This was why Long Mingzu had no idea what she wanted to trade for. Moreover, she hadn't thought of what she was using to trade. Li Xiandao laughed. Don't be nervous. Just think slowly. Close your eyes and ask in your heart, what do you want the most? Li Xiandao liked this girl. It wasn't the love between a man and a woman, but in the business sense. Li Xiandao loved people who entered the Bank of the Universe with huge appetites. They desired too many things. As long as they dared to think it and dared to say it, Li Xiandao liked them. This was because the more things one thought about, the more desires one had, then the more the Bank of the Universe could earn. If you came in and said you wanted a secret technique and you exchange 5 years of life for it, then Li Xiandao would earn too little. People like Long Mingzu, who wanted everything and didn't want to give up on anything, were the most suitable guest for the Bank of the Universe. Li Xiandao was impressed by the 100 watches. The first person they had found already made him so satisfied. Long Mingzu sucked in a deep breath and closed her eyes. She started to ponder exactly what she wanted. Li Xiandao stood up and walked beside Long Mingzu. Da-da-da. Li Xiandao's footsteps weren't light at all, and after reaching her side, he looked at her seriously. Long Mingzu suddenly opened her eyes. She was pumped up. This was a person's, this was a woman's ambition. I want to be the ruler of 10,000 Dragon Empire. A female emperor. Long Mingzu stared at the pair of eyes behind Li Xiandao's dark gold mask and emphasized. Li Xiandao nodded his head in satisfaction. No problem, I can help you fulfill this wish, but what can you give me? Li Xiandao's question stumped Long Mingzu. What could she give? Could she give money? Li Xiandao didn't even think about raising the question of money. Did Li Xiandao look like someone who lacked money? Treasures? If Long Mingzu had many treasures, she wouldn't have entered the heaven and earth battlefield to break through. That was because the current emperor of the 10,000 Dragon Empire was really sexist. Even if Long Mingzu was so much stronger than the princes, she didn't receive many resources. Long Mingzu opened his mouth with much difficulty. I can sleep with you. Long Mingzu's only advantage was her body. Her virgin body. She was really beautiful. She possessed a cold type of beauty. Along with her long legs and perfect body, she was a top specimen. From the start, Long Mingzu knew that a girl's body was crucial at important moments, especially a virgin body in the eyes of men. I am still a virgin and the maidservants taught me many ways to serve men. I can do it as long as you support me in becoming the empress. Long Mingzu emphasized. Li Xiandao looked at her silently. Seven squinted her eyes and didn't say a word. She stood behind and looked on expressionlessly. 10,000 Dragon Empire is located in the ancient desolate land and is an empire in charge of billions of people. They have many experts and each prince has many such experts supporting them. There are many of them who flew towards the 9 skies and some of them are even experts in the celestial world. So what if you are a virgin? There are no benefits to that. Your beauty is not of any use. Of course, unless you look like the girl beside me, then maybe there is a chance. But unfortunately, you don't have this chance. Li Xiandao rejected her while praising Seven. Seven smiled once more. She pursed her lips to try to suppress her smile, but she couldn't do so. The shy joy of a girl was on full display. The gentleness of the way she lowered her head was like a lotus flower that felt shy in the cold wind. Unfortunately, Li Xiandao didn't see it as he was fully focused on Long Mingzu. When Long Mingzu entered, Seven passed her information over to Li Xiandao. 10,000 Dragon Empire was a pinnacle power in the ancient desolate land. There were many strong generals and great advisors. They had millions of well-trained troops and were invincible. Even the so-called Holy Lands and other top powers were suppressed by the sharp blades of the 10,000 Dragon Empire. Especially since the 10,000 Dragon Empire could communicate with their forefathers in the Nine Skies, which placed a lot of pressure on others. This was why if Long Mingzu wanted to accompany Li Xiandao for several nights to become the empress of such a country, there was no chance unless Li Xiandao was stupid. Maybe the last master would agree. But, Li Xiandao definitely wouldn't. So, what price do you want me to pay in exchange for your promise and support? Long Mingzu took in a deep breath. She knew that her looks were of no use, so she started to ask seriously. She would carefully consider the price and rewards. Li Xiandao smiled and took a contract from Seven's hand. It is all in the contract. If you agree, then sign it. Chapter 81, The Bank of the Universe's Important Matter. A contract was placed right in front of Long Mingzu. The contract was filled with words and it looked really neat. In her eyes, it left a really deep impression. Each word was like a knife. It sliced her heart into many pieces. As Long Mingzu read it, her breathing became more and more hurried. Li Xiandao's contract messed up her thoughts and emotions. It said that the Bank of the Universe would help Long Mingzu become the first empress of the 10,000 Dragon Empire and it would help her remain in that position. But the price she had to pay was her soul. She had to give her soul to Li Xiandao, and from now on, Li Xiandao would decide her life and death. Moreover, the 10,000 Dragon Empire would be located in the Bank of the Universe. With that the Bank of the Universe as its foundation, it would spread across the 9 skies and 10 lands. As long as Mingzu listened to him, she would continue to be the empress. She could decide on most things, but anything that had to do with the Bank of the Universe had to be reported. The contract stated this clearly. It was really obvious and it was really cruel. It was so cruel that Long Mingzu found it hard to breathe. How could she agree to that? If she gave her soul to Li Xiandao and to the Bank of the Universe, and if Li Xiandao turned on his words, then he could kill her right away. Li Xiandao knocked on the table and said, "The Bank of the Universe has existed in the world for a long time. Over many years, numerous people have entered this place and signed many contracts. We have followed these contracts and as long as you follow it, nothing will happen to you." Li Xiandao was calming her down. But, she was still unable to sign. The pen was lying right next to the contract. It was a really basic pen. In Long Mingzu's eyes, there was nothing in the world that was tougher to pick up. If she picked it up and wrote her name, it would be the same as paying her life away. Long Mingzu took in a deep breath and her entire body was shivering. Li Xiandao smiled, "Maybe, you can also leave this place and forget everything. This would be like a dream, and in the dream, you meet me and the fairy." Long Mingzu raised her head, saw Li Xiandao's deep eyes, and her body shook. Return. Return back to the original spot. Wouldn't she have to face that dumb brother? Now, she was still injured, and if she returned, even if she didn't die, she would be forced to drink that magic potion. "Can I change the conditions?" Long Mingzu raised a request. Li Xiandao shook his head coldly. He stood up and said, 10 minutes. You have 10 minutes to think about it and if you don't sign in 10 minutes, then leave. Li Xiandao and Seven instantly disappeared from the large hall and Long Mingzu was left alone to think. She stood up and she was in a mess. Her aura and energy surged, causing her hair to dance all about. Her eyes were filled with uncertainty as she stared right at the contract. Li Xiandao and Seven stood outside the Bank of the Universe and enjoyed the scenery. The thousands of mountains were really beautiful, but unfortunately, they were covered in mist. Seven told Li Xiandao that this whole place used to belong to the Bank of the Universe. It was extremely huge, but now all of them had been pawned. Li Xiandao needed to work hard to earn more things to redeem them. "You want to control the 10,000 Dragon Empire?" Seven asked. Li Xiandao asked, "The Bank of the Universe has loaned too many things and we don't have the ability to travel between worlds. If we don't craft a large-sized teleportation formation, then in a short time, we won't be able to leave Dali Land." Seven nodded her head. This was a cruel problem. They were restricted in Dali Land. In the past, the Bank of the Universe could casually move amongst the 9 skies and 10 lands and even the celestial world, they would come and go as they pleased. But as the mountains were pawned, the Bank of the Universe lost such ability and was trapped in Dolly Land like someone stuck in quicksand, unable to break free. This was why Li Xiandao thought about using the 10,000 Dragon Empire to collect the blueprints for making a world-grade teleportation formation. Even if they couldn't find it, then by controlling the 10,000 Dragon Empire, they could expand outwards or find other blueprints. This was Li Xiandao's method to break free. When Seven heard this, she was satisfied and nodded her head. She praised, "You are now a passable master." "I have always been." Li Xiandao stood with his hands behind his back and looked at the clouds. Seven covered her mouth and giggled. She didn't say anything and continued to look at the clouds together with Li Xiandao. As for whether or not Long Mingzu signed, Li Xiandao and Seven weren't worried at all. The moment one's desires were open, it was a really terrifying thing. It was impossible for one to shove them back, to return to the past. Long Mingzu had to sign the contract. As expected, 10 minutes later when they returned to the hall, Long Mingzu had already signed. Before signing, she was really conflicted, but after signing it, she calmed down. "How will you all help me?" Long Mingzu asked. "Have you heard of something called a world-grade teleportation formation?" Li Xiandao asked. Long Mingzu frowned and said, "Yes, but it consumes a lot of resources." Li Xiandao's lips curled. As he had guessed, there was news in the ancient desolate land regarding the teleportation formation. "I will send a few people to enter ancient desolate land along with you to find the teleportation formation and build it." Li Xiandao said. "Why do you need to build that? Any teleportation formation can be used." Long Mingzu was filled with many questions. "Although I am the daughter of the emperor, he doesn't care much about me and I don't have many resources, so I can't build it." Long Mingzu said solemnly as she looked at Li Xiandao. She felt like Li Xiandao wasn't treating her truthfully. "It is okay, as long as you find the blueprints. My men will solve it all for you. Moreover, once it is built, I will personally head over to wipe out all the enemies for you." Li Xiandao said confidently. It would be a disaster for those people when he crossed into their world. Long Mingzu's eyes lit up like she saw hope. "Okay, I will do it." Li Xiandao smiled in satisfaction and clapped his hands. "All of you, come. Shua shua shua." Battle Angel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, White Emperor Tian Guangming, Heaven Heart and Nine-Tailed Sky Fox Wu Xianer. Currently, these were all the men Li Xiandao had and he was going to send them all. This was really important, and if they really built up the world-grade teleportation formation, then Li Xiandao could cross worlds and bring the Bank of the Universe into the ancient desolate land. He could develop the Bank of the Universe to a larger extent. "You will follow Long Mingzu into the ancient desolate land and the first thing you will do is find the blueprints and build it, so I can bring the Bank of the Universe over. If you face any problems, Heaven Heart will decide. If you all can't decide, then ask me." Li Xiandao instructed. All of them agreed solemnly. "Long Mingzu is one of us. When you head out with her, you need to help her solve her problems." Li Xiandao said solemnly. This would be a huge matter for the Bank of the Universe over the next period of time. The few of them all agreed. Li Xiandao looked at Long Mingzu as he had to collect something that belonged to him. "Come over and hand over your soul." Li Xiandao reached out toward Li Xiandao. Chapter 82, Imprisoning Long Beishuan. Li Xiandao first took out Long Mingzu's soul flame. This was the source of a person. Once the flame was broken, then the life flame would slowly wither and they would die. Long Mingzu looked at her soul flame that had been removed and she felt really empty, like she had lost something really important. She personally saw Li Xiandao place it into a jade box. "Place this in storage and take care of it. As Long Mingzu doesn't go against the contract, then don't take it out." Li Xiandao said calmly. Seven nodded her head in a well-behaved manner and left with the jade box. Long Mingzu felt more at ease. As long as she didn't go against the contract, then she would be fine. "You can leave now. Enter the heaven and earth battlefield and then head toward the ancient desolate land." Li Xiandao instructed. Heaven Heart nodded. "We will definitely complete the mission." He was the strongest out of all of them and the calmest one too. Although he looked like a monk, a demon lived inside his heart. Li Xiandao waved his sleeves and swept all of them out. Heaven and earth battlefield. Long Beishuan and his man had been guarding this place for a while. More than 30 of them were scouring the area, but they didn't notice Long Mingzu. At the start, Long Beishuan was furious and uneasy. Now, he was only filled with terror and silence. He was certain about how scheming his sister was and how vicious her plans were. He might have been her brother, but this brother had tried to force her to drink a magic potion. Long Beishuan's eyes turned vicious as he said, "Guard here. I don't believe that she could have just left without any sign at all. If he didn't manage to take down Long Mingzu now, something really cruel would await him over at the ancient desolate land." The 30 warriors stayed silent as they guarded the place. Long Beishuan had no idea what was going on at all. What was that red watch? How could it cause a person to disappear right away? His plan was bulletproof, and even if he fell for the Crown Prince's plan, as long as he took down Long Mingzu, it would be worth it. But now, he fell into the trap and also hadn't taken Long Mingzu down. It was a double whammy. Long Beishuan was so depressed that he was about to vomit blood. Just as Long Beishuan was feeling depressed, several people appeared right at the spot where Long Mingzu had disappeared. Long Mingzu, Battle Angel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, White Emperor Tian Guangming, Heaven Heart, and Nine-Tailed Sky Fox Wu Xianer. Long Beishuan jumped up right away and waved his hand. "Take them down." The 30 warriors moved right away, and like beasts hunting their prey, they struck forwards. Long Mingzu had an ugly expression on his face. "This is my brother Long Beishuan. He wants to control me." Archangel Gabriel stepped forwards and said, "Let me do it. It isn't even worth mentioning 30 Heaven Essence Realm zombie warriors." Archangel Gabriel had reached Saint Realm a while ago, and after merging with the God Race Archangel, he had been improving. He was the second strongest person here behind Heaven Heart. A snow-white long sword appeared. The patterns on the blade were really beautiful. This was Gabriel's celestial artifact. Angel Sword Technique. Gabriel's body was like a white light as he flew forwards with the celestial artifact. With it in hand, he was invincible, any defense wouldn't hold up against this weapon. Explosion. Sword energy surged in all directions. Gabriel's body returned to his original spot. The whole process took less than a second, and all the 30 zombie warriors stood rooted to the spot. Long Beishuan was frightened and hollered, "What are you all doing? Why aren't you attacking?" Gabriel kept his celestial artifact. The armor he wore was clanging as he walked around. "Stop shouting at them. They are all dead. Peng peng peng." As Gabriel said this, the 30 of them all fell to the ground. If one checked carefully, one would have noticed that the sword marks on the corpses were all the same size and depth as one another. Long Beishuan stood rooted to the spot. He gulped like he had seen a monster. "Who are you? Where did you all come from?" Long Beishuan asked in terror. "My dumb brother." Long Mingzu smiled elegantly and confidently as she slowly walked out. "Long Mingzu, where did you go?" Long Beishuan asked in disbelief. "My poor child, did you really think you were definitely going to win? I was just a little careless and so you succeeded. But, you were never good enough and you will never be. With just this bit of skill, you want to fight for the throne." Long Mingzu laughed coldly. "Long Mingzu, let me tell you, Daimei Holy Land is supporting me." Long Beishuan said fiercely. "So what if you have Daimei Holy Land? You shouldn't have come here alone, because if I kill you here, who will know?" Long Beishuan smiled and used her thin fingers to raise up Long Beishuan's chin. She looked really elegant but also very fierce. Long Beishuan shivered in fear. "Sister, you are my sister, you can't kill me. Now, you know I am your sister." Long Mingzu's expression was terrifyingly cold. "I was wrong. I am really wrong. Since we are family, since we have the same mother, you know that mother treats me as her treasure and that I am her hope in life. If I die, she would be really sad." Long Beishuan knelt on the ground and begged. Mucus and saliva flowed down his face. "That's right, mother loves you the most. Father also loves all you boys. No matter how strong I am, I will never be good enough because I am not a man." Long Mingzu gritted her teeth and said. She hated the sexist views. In the past, she had no choice and could only suppress it, but now she wanted to fight back and break such fixed thoughts. "Don't worry, I won't kill you," Long Mingzu said calmly. "Really?" Long Beishuan looked at his sister in surprise. "Of course, I won't kill you, but I am going to imprison you for the rest of your life. From now on just stay by my side. If you dare to run, then I will kill you," Long Mingzu said coldly. You want to lock me up? Long Beishuan said with rage. Do you want me to kill you now or put you under house arrest? Long Mixu stared at Long Beishuan. You can choose one and I will make it happen. Long Mixu's tone stabbed deeper into his bones than the cold wind. Long Beishuan shuddered. He didn't dare to look at her eyes and said, I prefer to be by your side. Long Mixu scoffed coldly and said, I will do as I have said. If you dare to leave the specified region I demarcate for you, the first time I will break your legs. The second time, I will trash your cultivation and the third time I will kill you. Long Beishuan was furious, but he didn't dare say anything. He acted as if he listened, but deep down he didn't care. When he returned to ancient desolate land and back to 10,000 Dragon Empire, what could a daughter of no importance do to a prince? Long Mixu looked at him coldly. He had given him a chance and if he didn't cherish it, then she would have to kill him for the sake of her empress dream. Chapter 83, Ancient Desolate Land. Ancient Desolate Land was one of the lands in the 9 skies and 10 lands. Ancient Desolate Land and Dali Land were different. In the 10 lands, Ancient Desolate Land could be ranked in the top 5 and it was a huge world. After Long Mixu tied up Long Beishuan, he directly brought him back to Ancient Desolate Land. Battle Angel Michael and the others followed her, entering Ancient Desolate Land through the teleportation formation. There were just a few top powers in Ancient Desolate Land. 10,000 Dragon Empire occupied a bit more than half of the rich land and was the undisputed top power. North Alliance dynasty was formed when 7 countries joined hands to go against the 10,000 Dragon Empire. The many ocean islands, sects, aristocratic families, and colleges were all under the jurisdiction of these 2 powers. Of course, most of them seemed like they were subservient to the 2 powers on the surface, but in reality, they ruled themselves, didn't pay taxes, didn't give any payments, and also didn't rebel. As the princess and the prince of the 10,000 Dragon Empire, many parties paid attention to their return. They didn't stay, instead leaving the secluded teleportation hall to head back to the capital of the 10,000 Dragon Empire. Along the way, Long Beishuan, whose cultivation was locked up, followed beside Long Mixu. As long as he dared to leave her sight, Long Beishuan would beat him up. This left Long Beishuan with psychological trauma such that he didn't dare to leave his sister's sight. It was night. A bonfire was raised and the few of them huddled together. Long Mixu, Heavenheart, Michael, Gabriel, Tian Guangming, and Wu Xian'er were all together. Long Beishuan laid crestfallen on the carriage not far from them, a teardrop flowed down his face. Shortly after, more and more teardrops flowed down, slowly gathering into a puddle. However, no one took notice of him. Now that we are in ancient desolate land, Long Mixu, where is the world-grade teleportation formation? Heavenheart asked. Long Mixu thought about it. I heard people speak about it before, but I don't know about the specifics. When we reach the capital, there will definitely be people who know. Shengjing was the capital of the 10,000 Dragon Empire. It was a huge city with tens of millions of people and was really prosperous. The area was filled with the aura of cultivators. We have to get the blueprints quickly so we will know what materials and treasures we need to gather. Once the formation is built, Master will bring the Bank of the Universe to cross worlds. At that time, your dream of being emperor will be easily reached. Heavenheart reminded Long Mixu so that she wouldn't slack or go against her word. Long Mixu nodded her head, I have already handed my soul flame over, so I will definitely try my best. We are on the same boat, your master is mine too. That's good. Heavenheart was satisfied. Then, how many more days will it take us before we enter the capital? Tian Guangming asked. Based on our current speed, we will definitely reach Shengjing within 10 days. At that time, we can find someone I am familiar with to get some news. Long Mixu said. How about this, Wu Xian'er and Tian Guangming will follow you. One is your maid and one is your bodyguard. Although Tian Guangming's cultivation isn't high, his aura is more than enough to be a bodyguard. Heavenheart dished out the orders. Wu Xian'er had nothing to say. She was alluring and attractive and nodded her head when she heard these words. Tian Guangming stared at Heavenheart with a deathly gaze. What nonsense are you saying, you bald camel? Tian Guangming cursed. You are the weak one, you are the one without high cultivation, you are the one with the aura to be a bodyguard. Why? Do you have a problem? Heavenheart noticed that the gaze that Tian Guangming gave him was a little off and he asked right away. No, I will listen to your orders. Tian Guangming faked a smile. Okay, he was weak. Probably the only person he could defeat here was Wu Xian'er. But how old was Wu Xian'er? If Wu Xian'er was given 2 months, Tian Guangming wouldn't be able to beat her. As time went on, Tian Guangming wouldn't be able to for the rest of his life. Thinking about this made Tian Guangming really anxious. Unknowingly, he had actually become the weakest under Li Xiandao. If this continued, he would get eliminated. No, I have to change this. I am the White Emperor, I will be able to be so strong I can look down on everyone. Tian Guangming swore to himself. But how could he do that? Tian Guangming had no idea. Heaven Heart didn't bother about Tian Guangming and continued, the few of us will remain in the shadows and will help if you all face things you can't solve. But remember, the world-grade teleportation formation is the priority. Everyone nodded their heads. This was Li Xiandao's orders and no one dared to go against it. After all, he decided everyone's lives and if they did not do well and made him angry, then the outcome would be catastrophic. In the next few days, the few of them rushed towards Shengjing. They weren't fast, nor slow, they just maintained a decent pace. Along the way, everyone overheard news of Long Beishuan and Long Mingzhu. Some people found it weird. Shouldn't they have been killing one another in the heaven and earth battlefield? Why did they return so peacefully? Peaceful? Long Beishuan wanted to spit at those people. Have you ever seen peace come from one person threatening to break the legs of the other? Have you seen peace come from sealing someone's cultivation? Have you seen peace come from one person being beaten up when he left her field of sight? Are you blind? Unfortunately, no one knew that Long Beishuan was in pain. Everyone thought that the siblings had made up and returned together. Shengjing was a majestic-looking residence that occupied 10 miles. Within, there were fake mountains, small lakes, and bamboo forests. In this mansion, a young man was looking at the moon and listening to the reports from his men. So, Long Beishuan, that piece of trash, didn't kill his smart sister. The young man laughed coldly. I said long ago that Long Mingzhu is smart and really scheming. If she was a man, she would be your greatest foe. A scholar said. After all, she supports me, if I do that, won't I be burning the bridge? The Crown Prince said casually. He was the one who told Long Beishuan about Long Mingzhu heading to heaven and earth battlefield to break through, which caused them to turn on one another and kill each other. Now that he asked whether or not he was being too cruel, that was just so fake. No, Crown Prince, you are removing problems. 7th Prince is not smart, he isn't brave, nor does he have plans, and he isn't your opponent. If he deals with Long Mingzhu, he can help make your position more stable. The scholar smiled. Since it is not too much, then I shall do more. The siblings have made peace with one another. The Crown Prince asked with a weird expression. That seems to be the case. Based on the spies, they eat and live together. They never split from one another and their relationship seems really good. The scholar reported. Their relationship is good. The Crown Prince laughed coldly. There are people in the royal family who are close to one another. That is just an illusion. One of them is definitely in pain, but this is what I expected. Tell the people not to let them return to Shengjing. I hate the two of them. Chapter 84, Shengjing. For a few consecutive days, Long Mingzhu and the group had been rushing. As the teleportation formation to enter the heaven and earth battlefield was very far away from Shengjing, the people of the 10,000 Dragon Empire were at ease and didn't have to worry about people from the heaven and earth battlefield suddenly charging into Shengjing. As a result, they had to cover a large distance. But after 9 days, they were just a few hundred miles away from Shengjing. A few hundred miles was just 15 minutes to them. Especially saints, one step could cover 100 miles right away. However, they didn't continue to rush and stopped instead. Late in the night, there was another bonfire. Everyone huddled together and discussed something. Long Beishuan was alone on the carriage and looking at the sky in sadness. He had no more tears. During these few days, his tears had dried up. Long Beishuan felt like he was a mourning wife. After being locked up, no matter how much he cried and called out, there was no one to reply to him. Luckily, they were about to return to Shengjing. All of you, watch out. Once we return to Shengjing, even if I work with the Crown Prince and join his side, I won't let all of you off. Long Beishuan hated his sister, Long Mingzhu, to death as well as the group of them with Heaven Heart at the helm. Let's bear with it and very quickly I will be able to break free. Once we reach Shengjing, I will teach you all a lesson. Long Beishuan swore in his heart. No one regarded him as a decent human. Heavenheart looked around and smiled, this is our first time entering Shengjing and there are actually people coming to welcome up. I feel really honored. Long Mixu's expression changed, the crown prince is definitely the one who sent them. Princess and seventh prince, you all shouldn't have returned. This time, we will send you off. A dark voice rang out from all directions and one couldn't tell where it came from at all. Long Mixu's expression was really ugly. But Heavenheart shook his head, what kind of hero is so sneaky? Gabriel, go invite them out. Archangel Gabriel stood up and walked over expressionlessly. He pulled out his sword and slashed. A white glow exploded out in the darkness and shone the wilderness. At that moment, a dozen people with decent cultivations looked on in fear. When the white light disappeared, Archangel Gabriel walked out expressionlessly. He sat back to his position and barbecued a chicken wing. Putong! 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 A dozen corpses fell to the ground. One more strike and all of them died. Long Mixu was stunned and her heart felt numb. How strong was this person? Was he a great saint? One must know that among the men under the crown prince, there were many at peak heaven essence realm. The person who spoke was definitely at the first stage of small saint. But under Gabriel's hands, he wasn't even able to block a single move. What was worse was the fact that Gabriel had to listen to Heavenheart. How strong was this bald camel? Long Mixu didn't want to ask. Heavenheart sighed, I wanted to ask who sent them, but you killed them all. Next time, can you give me a chance? Gabriel stared at his chicken wing and said, I already gave you a chance. How is that you giving me a chance? Heavenheart reached out and pointed at the dozen fresh corpses. They are too weak. I already tried my best to control my strength. Gabriel felt a little wronged. How was this his fault? He suppressed a large portion of his strength and just casually slashed out. They were unable to block and died. What did it have to do with him? Long Mixu stopped them from quarreling. Obviously they were sent by the crown prince. That person who spoke mentioned it right away, he is one of the people under the crown prince and he is a saint. You are insulting saints. Gabriel said expressionlessly. Heavenheart nodded, I agree. The two of them were saints. When they saw such a weak saint, they felt speechless. Tian Guangming looked at the two of them speak in unison and cursed in his heart, you two are just overpowered. Long Beishuan on the carriage also cursed, you two sick people. The next morning when the first bit of sunlight shone down, Long Mixu took out her royal family token in front of the entrance before she entered. Shengjing was huge and took up a large area. The city was split into a few regions. Inner city, central city, outer city, and suburbs. The inner city was really huge and all the higher-ups in the empire lived there. It included the palace, Long Beishuan, and Long Mixu's residences. Long Mixu's residence wasn't too bad, but compared to Long Beishuan, it was really poor and cheap. The bunch of them looked at her residence and were speechless. They chose to stay in Long Beishuan's one instead. This is my residence, you should go to my sister's. I promise I will stay at home and reflect and I won't go out. Long Beishuan struggled. Pa! Long Beishuan was not in a good mood and slapped him. If you don't agree, then why did you hit me? Long Beishuan teared up and felt really wronged. If you try anything, it won't be a slap next time. This is my first warning. Long Mixu said coldly. Long Beishuan kept silent and didn't dare to say a word. All of you, rest up and help me take care of Long Beishuan. I will go to meet a friend to find out some news. Long Mixu said towards Heavenheart. No worries. Do you need us to follow you? The others will stay here to guard Long Beishuan. Heavenheart asked. No, my friend doesn't like strangers. She is well informed and definitely knows where it is, so wait for the good news. Long Mixu rejected. Heavenheart didn't force her and watched on as she left. He then turned his eyes to Long Beishuan. His friendly eyes scared him. I will head to my room to reflect. Send in my 3 meals and I won't go out at all. Heavenheart nodded, that's good. In Shengjing within the Crown Prince residence, the Crown Prince had a really dark and sunken expression as he asked, they all died? Yes, all of them died. Their throats were slashed with one sword. The subordinate reported. When did Long Mixu have such experts by her side? The Crown Prince frowned and was furious. Crown Prince, what should we do now? The subordinate asked. Keep the corpses and bury them. As for the people Long Mixu brought back, investigate them. Don't do anything, and once the investigation is complete, then welcome them well. The Crown Prince had an ice-cold gaze. Understood, I will go investigate now. That subordinate wanted to back down right away. Wait, go and investigate what happened too. She definitely changed. In the past, we didn't have to fear her, but now, I don't like anything getting out of my control. The Crown Prince said with a serious expression. Investigate it, find out everything. The Crown Prince waved his sleeves and said coldly. Chapter 85, Founder Demon Sect. Shengjing. In one of the areas with dense foot traffic, there was an extremely beautiful building. This was a place that specifically sold secret intel. The master was a woman who was also Long Mixu's good friend. In the building, a really heroic-looking girl welcomed Long Mixu. Didn't you say that you went to the Heaven and Earth battlefield to break through to Saint Realm? The girl asked. Let's not talk about it. I was able to return purely by luck. Sister Min, I came to ask for your help. Long Mixu said warmly. We are so close to one another, so just say it. If I know, I will definitely tell you. Sister Min smiled. Long Mixu asked, does Sister Min know where in ancient desolate land the blueprints for a world-grade teleportation formation are? Sister Min frowned and tried to recall. The blueprints aren't a necessity, so only top sects will build them to allow their members cross worlds so they don't have to face the world thunder. Why are you asking about this? Long Mixu smiled, I want to get one. Sister Min looked at her and knew that she didn't want to say the reason, so she didn't continue asking. The blueprints are really precious, but normal people don't need them. Even the 10,000 Dragon Empire wanted to get one, but couldn't since they're in the hands of the demon sect. Long Mixu frowned, in the hands of the demon sect. Right, the 18 demon path sects Indiana ancient desolate land are against the 10,000 Dragon Empire and they collude with the North Alliance dynasty. One of the sects is called Founder Demon Sect and they have the blueprints. It would be extremely hard for you to acquire them. Sister Min said. Founder Demon Sect isn't really that strong among the 18. Long Mixu recalled. Actually, they aren't that strong and are even at the bottom. But since they are one of the 18, their sect is at peak Heaven Saint. Sister Min said solemnly. Peak Heaven Saint. This wasn't one of the 3 stages of Small Saint, nor was it initial Great Saint. It was the peak of the 3rd stage of Great Saint. Saints were split into emptiness, out of emptiness, and extreme emptiness. Great Saint split into 5 levels: Yin Saint, Yang Saint, Heaven Saint, Earth Saint, and Dao Saint. Small Saints absorbed the laws of heaven and earth into their bodies to use them. Great Saints controlled the laws to form their domain. In their own domains, they were the gods. Each level of Great Saint was a huge gap from another. A Heaven Saint was considered really decent even in 10,000 Dragon Empire. This was why Sister Min would warn Long Mixu not to offend them. However, Long Mixu didn't care at all and took in a deep breath. So what if he was Heaven Saint? Compared to Master, he wasn't worth mentioning at all. Sister Min, give me a map of where Founder Demon Sect is and also information about their Heaven Saint. I have to get the blueprints. Long Mixu said firmly. Looking at her determined face, Sister Min sighed helplessly, you don't have any experts under you, so how would you deal with them? Long Mixu smiled, let me tell Sister some news. I am not alone now and have experts beside me. Archangel Gabriel and Heavenheart were definitely experts, but the only thing was that she didn't know what realm they were in. Sister Min said in an annoyed tone, even if you do have experts, you must know that you are heading into North Alliance dynasty territory. Even if you get it, you might not take it out. Long Mixu gritted her teeth, no matter what, I have to try. If she couldn't get the blueprints, then Master wouldn't be able to cross worlds and her Empress dreams would be shattered. Just thinking about it filled her with reluctance. She had to get the blueprints and build them. Once the extremely strong Master crossed the worlds, he would sweep aside all enemies. Okay. Although I don't know why you are so firm, if you get the blueprints and pass them to your father, your status will be raised. Sister Min said helpless. Why? She instructed her men to prepare all information about Founder Demon Sect, North Alliance dynasty, and even all the 18 demon sects. In just a short moment, her men came with a bunch of information. This is all I can do to help, so be careful. If you really can't do it, then you can choose to give up. Sister Min persuaded. Long Mixu was touched, thank you, Sister Min. I will remember your help in my heart. We have known each other for so long, so is there a need to be so polite? Sister Min was a little unhappy. It is my fault. Sister Min, don't blame me. Long Mingzu immediately acted cute and pulled her wrist, smiling sweetly. You are really determined. It would be so much better if you were a guy. Sister Min exclaimed. Long Mingzu didn't say anything. She just rested in Sister Min's arms and her eyes shone brightly. I am feeling fortunate that I am a female. When I become an empress and suppress all the men, that will be the greatest achievement. Long Mingzu's desires grew crazily. Long Mingzu returned to Long Beijuan's manor with a lot of information. The bunch of them studied it in the main hall. North Alliance Dynasty is a coalition of 7 countries. These 7 privately recruited the 18 demon sects and are the strongest force against the 10,000 Dragon Empire. Long Mingzu introduced. Out of the 18, Founder Demon Sect is the weakest and they are the ones with the blueprints. They are within Great Xia Dynasty and have a peak Heaven Saint expert. Long Mingzu said solemnly. Heaven Heart said, then, we just need to head to this Great Xia Dynasty, find Founder Demon Sect, and acquire the blueprints. Long Mingzu looked at Heaven Heart, you make it sound so simple. They have a Heaven Saint, he is the 3rd level of Great Saint and has immense power. Is he really strong? Heaven Heart looked at Gabriel and asked. So. Gabriel thought about it and answered seriously. The others looked at the 2 acting cool and were speechless. Since you all say that, then head out through the night to Great Xia Dynasty. Wipe out Founder Demon Sect and get the blueprints. At the same time, bring their treasury back too. Long Mingzu said. Sure. If we bring their treasury back, they would have definitely amassed some resources for the formation, so it would be able to help us. Heaven Heart nodded. Bring the map and set off. Long Mingzu took out the map and passed it to Heaven Heart. In the Bank of the Universe, Li Xiandao and 7 looked at those scenes. As the Bank of the Universe was unable to cross worlds, Li Xiandao and 7 often paid attention to them. When they saw that they found news of the blueprints so quickly, Li Xiandao was really satisfied. Right, who was the person who borrowed the blueprints from us? Li Xiandao asked 7. Chapter 86, Actually so strong. 7 took out a contract and passed it to Li Xiandao. Li Xiandao took a look and saw the name of the person who made the loan. Tian Yuan. He was a thin, middle-aged man with a dark gaze and a tanned face. Just one look and one knew that he wasn't a good person. This is the Heaven Saint who started Founder Demon Sect? Li Xiandao asked. It should be him, otherwise, the blueprints wouldn't have ended up in their hands either. 7 nodded her head. He borrowed our blueprint and the price was actually only to build one formation for us. Li Xiandao found it weird. Right, which was why he broke the contract. 7 nodded her head. There was no price for breaking the contract either. Li Xiandao flipped the contract and frowned in displeasure. A contract without any price to pay was just an irresponsible one. 7 looked at Li Xiandao helplessly and didn't want to say anything. Li Xiandao sighed helplessly with a dark gaze in his eyes, tell Heaven Heart to kill Tian Yuan. You were allowed to borrow the Bank of the Universe's world-grade teleportation formation blueprints without any compensation price. You were still not satisfied and even went against the contract? Li Xiandao hated such dishonest people and if he didn't kill him, he wouldn't be able to vent the rage in his heart. 7 nodded her head, I understand. In ancient desolate land, Heaven Heart and Archangel Gabriel headed out to Shengjing in the night and headed towards Great Xia Dynasty. The 2 of them were saints and had strong cultivation, so they were able to cover a huge distance in a short time. While they were rushing, Heaven Heart suddenly stopped. What? Gabriel asked. Master just sent us news. Heaven Heart said solemnly. What did Master say? Gabriel asked right away. Master said that he wants us to kill the Founder Demon Sect's Heaven Saint. Heaven Heart said. Okay. Gabriel didn't say anything and didn't question it either. Since Li Xiandao told him to kill him, then he would do it. Anyway, since we are doing the job, then let's just kill him too then. Heaven Heart didn't care. Then, let's go. Gabriel jumped in the air and charged into the sky. The 6 pairs of wings on his back were huge and brought him swiftly flying forwards. Lotuses appeared beneath Heaven Heart's feet as he stepped forwards. As for that Heaven Saint, the 2 of them didn't care about him at all. 3 days later, the 2 of them arrived at the area north of the city walls. Great Xia Dynasty had a celestial artifact, the Great Xia Dragon Finch, which was a strong killing blade. This was why Great Xia was able to establish a country north of the city walls, experiencing great development. Within Great Xia, most of the people were nomads and the plains were their life. With the huge mountains in the north as a barrier between them and the 10,000 Dragon Empire, the people were really safe. Founder Demon Sect was located in this long mountain range. Heavenheart and Gabriel followed the map that Long Mingzu provided and rushed to Big River Mountain Range. Big River Mountain Range was huge. Looking from afar, it looked like a serpent-like, giant river had landed from the sky and sliced apart the path from the 10,000 Dragon Empire to Great Xia Dynasty. The mountain range looked really majestic with mountain peaks rising high in the sky. Some of the mountains were twisted and curved, some had really weird shapes, some were like giant swords piercing through the clouds. Founder Demon Sect was above Five Finger Mountain, which consisted of 5 giant mountain peaks together. It was easy to differentiate it from afar, it just looked like a hand. Heavenheart and Gabriel stood beneath the mountain range. They looked into the distance and then exchanged glances with one another. "We are just charging up there just like that?" Gabriel asked Heavenheart. "It is too problematic." Heavenheart shook his head. Gabriel looked at Heavenheart curiously. "We shall invite him out." Heavenheart reached out with his hand and slapped it forwards. Explosion! 5 fingers appeared in the sky and a giant hand appeared. Golden light shone like it was about to cleanse all life there. The giant hand caused the cloud layer to rumble. These scenes were like that of the apocalypse and the people of Founder Demon Sect freaked out. Who dares to behave so arrogantly in Founder Demon Sect? An elder who just entered Small Saint Realm hollered in rage. He flew out, demonic energy exuded out from his body and it turned into a giant demon blade. Slash! The Founder Demon Sect elder wanted to slice off the hand. He couldn't allow it to destroy Five Finger Mountain. But the hand just flicked at the giant blade. Kaka! The blade that was formed from large amounts of demonic energy broke apart, splitting into several pieces and dissipated in the air. Pooey! The Small Saint Realm elder's organs were heavily damaged and he spat out mouthfuls of blood. He fell to the ground and broke many buildings. The hand was still there and after smashing the demonic blade, it pressed down without any hesitation at all. Scoff! You are also Heaven Saint Realm and dare to behave so arrogantly in my Founder Demon Sect. There was a cold scoff before a black lotus bloomed in the sky, smashing down on the hand. Explosion! The black lotus and Buddha hand were on the same level, forming a huge aura in the air which spread all around. The wind swept and stirred up everyone's hearts. Tianyuan, bring the world-grade teleportation formation blueprints out, otherwise, I will destroy your Founder Demon Sect. Heavenheart said. Tianyuan's body shook and recalled something. It is you. You remember us? Heavenheart's voice turned slightly cold. Didn't you all disappear? Tianyuan was slightly bitter, his heart started to panic a little. We are back now. I will give you 10 seconds. If you don't come out, then we will go in. The moment he said this, the hand exploded, turning into a bright Buddhist light and clearing out the black lotus that Tianyuan sent. Dong! Tianyuan's expression changed and he said in shock, this isn't something a Heaven Saint can do. If he wasn't Heaven Saint, then it meant that no one in Founder Demon Sect could stop him. He looked into the distance and gritted his teeth, I will delay them. Go report to Great Xia Dynasty and say that people from the 10,000 Dragon Empire are here and they want to steal our blueprints. The disciple beside nodded in acknowledgement and swiftly left to report it. Tianyuan took in a deep breath. He had to buy time, so he flew out slowly. Heavenheart and Gabriel sat quietly beneath the foot of the mountain. Leave this place to me. You head to Founder Demon Sect and take all of their treasures, don't leave anything for them. Heavenheart said. Gabriel walked right away, listening to his orders fully. As for whether or not Heavenheart could win, that wasn't something he should have been worrying about. Gabriel walked in and Tianyuan walked out, but the two of them didn't see each other. When Tianyuan came out, he realized that there was only Heavenheart. His heart shuddered. Where is your partner? Just now, Heavenheart said that he was not alone. But now, he was the only one. Tianyuan instantly thought of his sect. He turned his head and felt really uneasy, wanting to fly back right away. Dong! However, 100,000 mountains of pressure pressed down on him, making it tough for him to breathe and he was unable to move. You actually have such cultivation. Tianyuan looked at Heavenheart in shock. He was at the 3rd level of Great Saint and was actually suppressed so much that he spat out blood and couldn't move. This This was just too terrifying. Chapter 87, Saint Domain. Heaven Heart slowly walked forward. He was very far away from Tianyuan and walked really slowly, but the invisible pressure he gave off made Tianyuan cough. Cough cough. This is actually, Tianyuan looked at Heaven Heart in shock. Domain. He said these words with much difficulty. Saint Domain. The final level in the Saint realm. Only by reaching Dao Saint could one give birth to a domain. Of course, Tianyuan was shocked. The monk in front of him was actually someone at the 5th level of Great Saint, Dao Saint realm. Only Dao Saints had domains which could make him unable to move and find it tough to breathe. You borrowed the world-grade teleportation formation blueprints from my Bank of the Universe. Is it time for you to return it? Heaven Heart asked calmly. This was the first time he showed off all of his strength. Great Saint level 5, Dao Saint realm. Li Xiandao previously mentioned that Heaven Heart was in the top 3 in Dali land, and his words were totally true. Li Xiandao might have been even a little humble too. Not counting Li Xiandao, Heaven Heart was definitely the best. To be able to cultivate to level 5 of Great Saint in such a place like Dali land was really unbelievable. After all, small saints were elders in Dali land and there were so few great saints. As for level 5 great saints with domains, Tianyuan trembled. I will take it out, please show me mercy. I will return the blueprints to you. Heaven Heart shook his head. Monks do not like to lie, so I won't do that. I have to take your life. Tianyuan was furious. Monks do not lie, but monks can't kill either. I am sorry, I am not a monk now. Heaven Heart sighed. Tianyuan stared at Heaven Heart in shock and rage. As long as you let me live, I will hand the blueprints over to you. I will also hand over all the things I have amassed over the years. The person who came with me is already at your founder demon sect, so your treasures aren't yours anymore and they all belong to the Bank of the Universe. Heaven Heart explained. Hong hong hong. The domain continued to shake. Everything within 100 miles was locked in Heaven Heart's domain. In this domain, he could control everything. You fake monk, you all say that you don't kill people. If you kill, you will break the rules and the Buddhist ancestors will punish you. Tianyuan scolded. Kneel. Heaven Heart ordered. Putong. Tianyuan didn't hesitate as he knelt down on the ground. His knees gave out a loud pop and it was extremely painful. His expression was filled with pain and extreme reluctance as he stared at Heaven Heart with vengeful eyes. Stop looking at me like that. You were the one who went against the contract. You signed it and chose to do so yourself, so don't blame me for killing you. Heaven Heart said calmly. I went against the contract, so do you have to kill me? Tianyuan stared at Heaven Heart in disbelief. Wasn't it just a dumb contract? So what if I went against it? You were going to kill me because of that? Tianyuan felt like Heaven Heart had gone mad. Yes, I have to kill you because you broke the contract. No matter how angry, unhappy, and annoyed you are, it is useless. Heaven Heart said coldly. No one can go against my Bank of the Universe's contract. No matter if you are a mortal or a celestial king, whoever goes against the contract will be punished. Heaven Heart stretched out his white palm. It was even whiter and even smoother than a girl's. He pressed down softly onto Tianyuan's head. It was like the 9-yin bone claw. Pui. Rumbling true chi was like a stick as it smashed viciously into Tianyuan's mind. Tianyuan fell down, and his eyes were filled with reluctance. All the bones in his body cracked and he died from the extreme pain. Had eyes. Heaven Heart sighed and retracted his domain. He took out the world-grade teleportation formation blueprints from Tianyuan's corpse and stepped out, leaving the place. The sky had no border, the wilderness was wide and livestock were in the bushes. Beside the livestock was a person. One soul belonged to heaven and earth. Heaven Heart didn't stay there after getting the blueprints and he left right away. He studied them and walked at the same time. He wanted to understand how to build the world-grade teleportation formation. Getting the blueprints was just the first step, finding materials was the second, and building it would be the third. After studying it for a while, Heaven Heart admitted that it was really complicated. One blueprint had thousands of changes and mechanisms, and one slight mistake would cause all the hard work to go to waste. In just a short moment, Gabriel rushed over. He chased after Heaven Heart while holding nothing in his hands. Do you have the items? Heaven Heart asked. I've got them. I used the celestial artifact as storage space and emptied their entire treasury. Gabriel said. Take a look. Heavenheart passed the blueprints to Gabriel. Gabriel didn't reject and took a close look. After reading it, he said, as expected, during these few years he has been collecting material to build one. He has 99% of the materials here. What about the remaining 1%? Heavenheart asked the crucial question. Gabriel replied, there are 3 things. What 3? Heavenheart looked at Gabriel. World coordinates, star guidance map, and world breaking blade. Gabriel said solemnly. Heavenheart frowned as he had never heard of any of them before. It doesn't matter that we don't know. Let's just ask Long Mingzu. I only know of the world coordinates and star guidance map. As for the world breaking blade, I am not sure either. Gabriel shook his head. Then, let's rush back. Heavenheart said firmly. Over at the Bank of the Universe, Xiandao and 7 frowned. I have seen the world coordinates in books before. As for the star guidance map and world breaking blade, I have never seen them before. Xiandao asked 7. World breaking blade, as its name suggests, allows you to rip apart a world. It is a really strong and terrifying treasure. It is also the demon sex treasure. 7 thought about it and replied. Where is it? Xiandao asked. I don't know. Anyway, Dali Land doesn't have one. As for whether ancient desolate land has it, our Bank of the Universe can't enter, so we don't know. 7 shook her head. Let's hope that there is. We just need to gather these 3 things and we can build a world-grade teleportation formation. Xiandao sighed. Now, he and 7 had nothing to do in the Bank of the Universe and they were just waiting for guests to arrive. When there were no guests, they just observed Heavenheart and the rest. As for Dali Land, Xiandao could easily sweep everyone in it, so there was no sense of achievement at all. Master, there is a guest. 7 reminded him. Xiandao came back to his senses and said, finally. This time the 100 watches really had strict conditions. 7 smiled. In the future, we have to be strict. Normal people don't have the right to enter the Bank of the Universe. Xiandao nodded. Normal people did in fact not have the right to trade here. Would it be another acquaintance this time? Xiandao joked. 7 smiled. This is a new guest. I don't know the person and neither does Master. Chapter 88, Darkness Body. Every day, numerous people would enter, numerous people would leave, and numerous people would die in the heaven and earth battlefield. In this place, life was the least valuable. Corpses could be found all over and treasures were hidden in every corner. This was why many people would come over in search of chances, to break through, to live forever. However, these people would become the fortuitous encounters of others, what others used to break through. They became the corpses in the growth of others. The old slowly left and the new charged in excitedly. The cycle rinsed and repeated. This was the charm of heaven and earth battlefield. In the past, White Heaven had thought like this, but he stopped thinking like that now. He entered the heaven and earth battlefield with his sect seniors. He had always listened to them, not fighting for treasures, handing over all cultivation techniques. He trusted his senior brothers and senior sisters. The past 15 years had been tough on White Heaven. When he was young, a plague swept through his hometown and the place was left strewn with corpses. His entire family was killed and he had to eat tree bark to survive. He was found to have top talent and was allowed to enter 10,000 Ancient Celestial Sect. An old man in 10,000 Ancient Celestial Sect took him in. He had 3 senior sisters and 4 senior brothers. Everyone treated him well and it made up for the tough previous half of his life. This was why White Heaven was willing to give everything he had to them. He was really sincere and willing to do so. A year after entering the sect, Master brought all the senior brothers, senior sisters and him into heaven and earth battlefield to break through. White Heaven followed. What he didn't know was that Master needed his talent to break through. White Emperor didn't expect that the kind Master would actually show such a vicious and terrifying face. His senior sister, who was always beautiful and noble, would actually do such intimate things with Master in front of him. His senior brother, who was always righteous, would actually suck up to Master so much like a dog. White Heaven, whose views of the world had all but collapsed, was now tied up by his Master. Your talent is something that is rare, darkness and purity. These 2 totally different things wrap up with one another, forming true perfection. However, you have kept on suppressing the dark side and only cultivated the light. Even then, you improved so quickly. In just a year, you were able to do what we did in decades. This talent is such a waste on you. Master stared at White Heaven greedily like he wanted to swallow him up. White Heaven looked at Master in despair and then he turned to his senior brother and senior sister. He had treated them so sincerely but ended up like that. White Heaven, who had nothing to his name, had his head sliced by Master's sharp blade. His talent, a mix of black and white, was dug out from his soul. Master faced the sky and laughed in delight before turning around and leaving. Senior sister looked at White Heaven with disdain. She shouted for Master as she chased him. Senior brother abandoned White Heaven, looking at senior sister's body with greed and rushing over to her too. The snow was really cold and White Emperor was on the verge of death. He looked towards the white sky and land as his eyes were filled with death. His talent was removed. It had been dug out so cruelly. He didn't have much time to live anymore. White Heaven was half a step into hell. If I have another life, I will walk this path alone. The 16-year-old White Heaven actually reminisced the past when he spent time alone in the plague-stricken region. The plague was vicious and claimed the lives of millions. But humans were more terrifying than the plague. White Heaven saw through all this. He was stupid and longed for his family, so he didn't notice all these details. At that moment, a blood-red watch appeared in the air and fell in his hand. A voice rang in his ear. Crush it and you can have a new life. Everything in front of White Heaven turned red, and in that blood red, he saw a really majestic palace. Two people stood in front of it, a guy and a girl. The guy had a domineering demeanor and the girl was beautiful. Unfortunately, he couldn't see their faces clearly. I have nothing left, so I don't care about losing anything now. White Heaven mocked himself. Using his last bit of strength, he crushed the red watch. The Bank of the Universe. In the trading hall, Xiandao wore the golden mask and asked, "Pass me his information." 7 would be the first to learn of the information and then she would tell Xiandao. Some of the previous masters would take back this ability. People who loved to micromanage didn't like 7 to interfere. Xiandao didn't care about all of this, and to date, he allowed 7 to control these abilities. White Heaven, an orphan in ancient desolate land, he doesn't have any treasures or money. Someone who is about to die. If he didn't crush the watch, he would have died in a minute. Also, someone dug away his talent. 7 reported one by one. Xiandao frowned, so based on what you said, he has no value at all, so how did he come in? He had no treasures, no money, and was about to die. Even his talent was taken from him. What worthy thing did such a person have to trade? 7 was slightly stunned as he did in fact have nothing good to trade. But in the next second, she closed her eyes and carefully searched the prose of White Heaven. Master, he has a really rare light and darkness body. 7 exclaimed. What? Xiandao looked towards her with a weird expression. Light and darkness body. Xiandao had seen many books introduce it before. Light and darkness had always been eternal enemies, like two extremes never to be together. But things in the world were never absolute. Just like Xiandao's all-knowing talent, which had long disappeared in history, suddenly appearing in this era. The light and darkness body appeared many times in history too. All of the people with them were top experts, invincible people who stood at the peak. Right, isn't fallen angel Lucifer a light and darkness body? Light and darkness body recalled. The watch helped him find someone to take over fallen angel Lucifer. Fallen angel Lucifer wasn't born with it but changed into the light and darkness body. 7 shook her head. Does that mean that White Heaven is more suitable to be a fallen angel than the original? Xiandao was shocked. That should be the case. A natural light and darkness body along with Lucifer's primordial divinity. The combination is the perfect fallen angel. 7 clapped in excitement. Xiandao's eyes lit up. A perfect fallen angel excited him. Quick, invite him in. Xiandao said. 7 and Xiandao waited together. A person suddenly appeared in the trading hall. He was covered in blood and looked really young. However, he was really tall and polite. The only thing was that his aura was really weak and his face was ashen white. He looked like he could faint at any moment. He was in a really bad state. This wasn't good. Xiandao couldn't let such a good seedling die in front of him. He took a contract and passed it over. Kid, sign your name and I will save you right away. Chapter 89, Third Angel. White Heaven was still in a blur. After hearing what Xiandao said and looking at the contract, he didn't even use a pen. He directly used the blood on his hand to leave his imprint on the contract. Then, he fainted. Li Xiandao looked at the palm stain on the contract and asked, "Does this count?" 7 nodded, "Yes. He was the one who chose to do so and we didn't force him to do so." "That's good. Go bring the fallen angel's primordial divinity over and I will save him," Li Xiandao instructed. 7 nodded. She kept the contract and went to collect the primordial divinity right away. Li Xiandao lifted White Heaven up and placed him on the table. When he saw the blood on his body, he frowned. This young man was so tragic, he had his talent removed from his body. Whenever Li Xiandao took someone's talent, it didn't hurt at all and it just felt like a dream. However, for White Heaven, he felt a bone-deep pain and he just wanted to kill himself. However, you've gained an opportunity from this. The most important thing is that you have your body. It is okay if you've lost your talent as long as you still have your body. Li Xiandao muttered. White Heaven's talent required really strict conditions and needed a special body to contain it. White Heaven's body was a perfect vessel. If his master used the talent on his own body, he would be killing himself. The talent of the light and darkness body would destroy his master. 7 returned really quickly with the primordial divinity in her hand. It was a mix of black and white and it looked like a trigram. "Come, I will help you merge with the talent." Li Xiandao started to merge the primordial divinity into White Heaven's body. Scoff! White Heaven couldn't help but cry out. His head had been sliced open before this and now Li Xiandao was doing the same thing. Li Xiandao pitied this kid who had to suffer so much pain at just 16 years old. Seal off his senses. I will complete the merger in the fastest time, Li Xiandao said solemnly. 7 walked over and sealed White Heaven's senses, blocking out all the pain. When Li Xiandao saw this, he quickly started the merging process. White Heaven slowly opened his eyes and saw a whole new world. A simple room, clean blanket, warm bed. His head didn't hurt anymore either. It was like White Heaven was in a dream as he touched his brain. He wasn't feeling pain anymore. That heart-wrenching pain from before no longer existed. However, White Heaven remembered that it was real and it did happen. His master removed his talent. The moment he was about to die, White Heaven appeared in a mysterious place and seemed to have signed a contract. White Heaven, after slowly standing up, blacked out and fell to the ground. He fell into endless darkness and in that darkness was a majestic figure. 12 pairs of wings spread out from his back. They were a mix of black and white and looked really terrifying. However, in White Heaven's eyes, it was the most beautiful color in the world. "Who are you?" White Heaven asked. "I am you," the 12-winged angel said. "Then, who am I?" White Heaven frowned and said. "You are Lucifer, the fallen angel. You are from the god race and you are also the king of hell. You are me and I am you." The 12-winged angel walked over slowly. White Heaven was shocked. "Now we are one." The 12-winged angel's body and White Heaven's body merged together. Hong! Many new memories appeared in White Heaven's mind. He hadn't gone through those things before but it felt really familiar to him. The god race angel Lucifer became the fallen angel Lucifer, then came the epic war and then death. The clear memories told White Heaven that he and Lucifer had merged. In the future, he would be Lucifer. "There is no White Heaven, there is only Lucifer," Lucifer said solemnly. Li Xiandao pushed open the door and walked in with 7. "How is the merger process?" Li Xiandao looked at Lucifer, who was wrapped in both white and black energy, and asked. "Master." Lucifer dissipated the energy and knelt down respectfully in front of Li Xiandao. "Do you want to take a look at the contract you signed?" Li Xiandao asked. "No need. I will be Master's sharpness sword, wherever the sword points, no one can stop us." Lucifer shook his head. "Not bad. Get familiar with it, Lucifer's power is indeed really strong. After all, it alone absorbed the power of an angel and a demon. You also have the light and darkness body, so once you have perfectly merged with it, you will exceed that bald man." Light and darkness body reminded. Lucifer said coldly, "I will work hard." Lucifer didn't ask who the bald man was. He had been through betrayal and his personality was really cold now. The only person he listened to was Li Xiandao. "Rest well and go take revenge on your own. I won't stop you and won't give you missions during this period of time," Li Xiandao said with satisfaction. This Lucifer had limitless potential. He was still in the merging stage, but his strength was already comparable to Tian Guangming's. Tian Guangming would become the weakest under Li Xiandao. Ancient Desolate Land, Heaven Heart, and Gabriel were rushing back. They didn't stop at all since getting the world-grade teleportation formation. They wanted to return and collect those 3 materials. They came and went extremely quickly. As for Great Xia Dynasty, did they have the ability to prevent 2 great saints from leaving? Even if their experts tried to rush over to Big River Mountain Range, Heaven Heart and Archangel left long ago. It was totally empty now. Great Xia Dynasty could only publish a wanted notice. In truth, they didn't even know what Heaven Heart and Gabriel looked like. They only knew that out of the 2, there was a monk who was really strong and had about level 4 or 5 great saints strength. The news only started to spread after Heaven Heart and Gabriel returned to Shengjing. It was totally useless for Heaven Heart. A bunch of people gathered in Long Beishuan's residence. For a total of 6 days, the 6 of them remained in the residence and waited quietly for the good news. We have gotten the world-grade teleportation formation. Heaven Heart announced the first piece of good news. Long Mixu instantly smiled as that was great. We have wiped out Founder Demon Sect's treasury and obtained many treasures and materials. Now, we are just lacking 3 things to build a world-grade teleportation formation. Gabriel said the second piece of good news. What 3 things? Long Mixu asked eagerly. World coordinates, star guidance map, and world breaking blade. Heaven Heart said. He didn't know about any of these items. Heaven Heart spent his whole life in Dali Land and had never come out before. This was his first time, so of course, he had no idea about those 3 things. I know the use of world coordinates and star guidance map, but I don't know whether or not there is any in ancient desolate land. Gabriel said. What about world breaking blade? Everyone asked in unison. Chapter 90, World Breaking Blade. Gabriel shook his head and said, I don't know. Tian Guangming found it weird. You are from the god race, so how would you not know? Although I am from the god race, it was the god race of the last era. An era had passed and so many new things have appeared. Many new things have appeared since then, so isn't it normal that I don't recognize it? Gabriel asked. Tian Guangming thought about it and felt that it made sense. Great, since everyone doesn't know that, I shall go ask my good friend. Maybe she knows. Long Mixu stood up and said. We have gotten the world-grade teleportation formation blueprints and also the materials amassed by Founder Demon Sect. We lack 3 things before we can summon Master over. This is a huge improvement, so we don't have to rush. Heaven Heart smiled. Help me take care of Long Beishuan while I go out to ask. Long Beishuan got up and left. Tian Guangming and Wu Xianer followed right away. One of them was the bodyguard and one was the maid. They had to follow beside Long Mixu to ensure her safety. Shengjing was a huge place with many people and carriages traveling about. Long Mixu came alone to the same majestic building to look for the heroic Sister Min. Long Mixu came alone to find her. Tian Guangming was talking casually with people outside while Wu Xianer stood coldly at a corner. Good sister, tell me whether or not you were the one who did that to Founder Demon Sect. The moment Sister Min saw Long Mixu, she grabbed her and asked softly. Sister found out. Long Mixu was shocked. Heaven Heart and Gabriel had just returned to Shengjing. My intel is much better than you'd expect, otherwise, I wouldn't dare to sell intel here. Sister Min said proudly. Yes, my men did it. Long Mixu admitted without any hesitation. This could be considered her way of flexing her muscles too. Sister Min looked towards Long Mixu in shock, that Founder Demon Sect has someone of level 3 Great Saint. Although he isn't a top expert, he should be top class. How would you, who has often been alone in the past, have such an amazing helper? Long Mixu smiled and didn't say a word. She just drank a cup of tea to express that she wasn't going to explain. Only by being mysterious could she cause others to fear her. Sister Min was a little annoyed. You are also starting to hide things from sister. Long Mixu softened up to her. Oh my good sister, I am not doing so on purpose. It's just that it isn't the right time for me to reveal it. Then, when is the right time? Sister Min didn't force Long Mixu and asked. Roughly when I am able to build the world-grade teleportation formation. Long Mixu thought about it and said. You want to build it so bad? Is it because you recruited experts from other worlds? Sister Min was really smart and immediately thought about some things. Long Mixu smiled and didn't say a word. Okay, I won't force you to answer, but you have always been smart and have had a mind of your own. This time I would really like to see what you can do. Sister Min said. Good sister, just wait and see. However, before this, there are still things I need your help with. Long Mingzu sucked up to her. What? Sister Min asked. Do you know about world coordinates, star guidance map, and world breaking blade? Long Mingzu asked. Sister Min's face sunk and she started to think, are these items needed to build the world-grade teleportation formation? Long Mingzu nodded her head, I have the other things already except for these 3 items. If you know about them, you have to tell me. No matter what, no matter whose hands they are in, I have to get them. Long Mingzu added. Her tone was firm and she was really determined. She was just 3 items away from her dream of becoming the Empress. Even if Long Mingzu risked her life she had to get them. Sister Min nodded and she knew how determined Long Mingzu was. I know where they are but it would be a little difficult to gather them all. That's okay, sister just needs to tell me and I will solve it on my own. Long Mingzu hugged her excitedly, and she couldn't help herself and kissed her. Sister Min smacked her and said with disdain, you just know how to take advantage of me. Long Mingzu laughed and hugged her sister, unwilling to let go. The world coordinates are in Shengjing, in the hands of your elder brother. Sister Min looked at Long Mingzu. Long Mingzu frowned and guessed, the Crown Prince. Right, it is in his hands. 3 years ago, a general in the desert obtained one of them and since he had no use for it, he gave it to the Crown Prince. The Crown Prince placed it in his own treasury. Sister Min nodded. Why would it be in his hands? Long Mingzu's brows were locked. The Crown Prince had just schemed against her and she didn't have many experts under her. This world coordinates would be really tough to acquire. This might just be fate. Sooner or later, I will have to face him. Sister Min said helplessly. What about the star guidance map? Long Mingzu asked. Within 10,000 ancient celestial sect. Sister Min said. 10,000 ancient celestial sect, one of the top 10 orthodox sections. Long Mingzu's mouth felt a little bitter. They were an even harder nut to crack than the Crown Prince. Now, you know the difficulty. Sister Min looked at Long Mingzu and felt heart-pained. Sister, continue. I want to know where the world-breaking blade is. Long Mingzu said. Outer Fortress Dragon Sect has 7 blades. They are the Bloodletting Blade, Bloodthirst Blade, Demon Descending Blade, Solemn Murder Blade, Soul Slaying Blade, Blade of Destruction, and Spirit Breaking Blade. The 7 blades are all top Dao artifacts and are held by saints. Each faction has one and once you gather all 7 of them, you can merge them to form a celestial artifact, the world-breaking blade. Sister Min explained. Long Mingzu's eyes blackened. This was actually a celestial artifact and it was all split among the many factions of Outer Fortress Dragon Sect. This would be even tougher than dealing with the Crown Prince or going against 10,000 ancient celestial sect. After all, they would have to challenge the different factions of Outer Fortress Dragon Sect to take the 7 blades. I think you should give up. Even if you have a peak saint you will be no match for those people. Sister Min persuaded. 10,000 ancient celestial sect alone has a few peak saints. They are all their older generation members who still haven't died. As for the Crown Prince's residence, he has a peak saint there too protecting him. As for Outer Fortress Dragon Sect, they have the title of 7 towering saints. 7 invincible saints support the Dragon Sect, so how are you going to take away their 7 blades? Sister Min asked Long Mingzu. Long Mingzu stayed silent for a moment before she released Sister Min. She smiled and said firmly, Sister, you know how I am as a person. I won't turn around unless I hit a wall and I won't give up unless I am about to die. Even if the situation is tough, I fear nothing as I have to reach my goals. Sister Min couldn't help but say, your goal is too difficult. You will be made use of and mocked by many. Long Mingzu squinted her eyes and said, would people standing at the peak of a mountain care about what ants say? Without any courage, I wouldn't dare to have such a dream. Sister, I will definitely succeed. Just you wait for my good news. Long Mingzu smiled. She was probably only able to be truly happy in front of this sister. Chapter 91, Revenge is just killing people. Long Mingzu returned to Long Beijuan's residence and told the news he had learned of to Heaven Heart. Everyone heard what she had to say and frowned. They felt like this was a problem. 3 treasures were all in 3 different places. The Crown Prince had a peak saint in charge. 10,000 Ancient Celestial Sect had a few peak saints. Outer Fortress Dragon Sect had 7 peak saints. On their end, they only had these few people. Monk, you are a peak saint, right? Tian Guangming asked. Heavenheart nodded. What about you? Tian Guangming looked at Gabriel. I am slightly weaker. Gabriel shook his head. He had been merging and improving. Although he was really quick, he hadn't yet reached level 5. Gabriel was only at the 4th level, the Earth Saint. But, I can kill Dao Saints. Gabriel said proudly. He had a celestial artifact and he had the staff, so it was no problem for him to kill enemies above him and for him to challenge those with Saint Domain. Michael bit his teeth. He also merged with the primordial divinity and inherited the battle angel. However, he was only at peak small saint and wouldn't be of any help. We have 2 on our side but it is not enough. Tian Guangming counted and sighed. Long Mingzu couldn't help but say, can we ask Master to send some people to help? Then, let me contact Master. Heavenheart closed his eyes. In the Bank of the Universe, Li Xiandao and 7 assessed the situation. Master, we have too few helpers. 7 said. Li Xiandao nodded his head and said, there are too few but it doesn't mean we can't do it. He connected to Heavenheart and ordered, deal with the Crown Prince first to get the world coordinates. As for 10,000 Ancient Celestial Sect, you don't have to worry, Fallen Angel will get the Star Guidance Map. Then, you will meet up and head to Outer Fortress Dragon Sect to acquire the World-Breaking Blade. Once I cross worlds, all problems will be easily solved. Li Xiandao instructed. Yes, Master. Heavenheart agreed right away. Since Li Xiandao said that, then he would just follow orders. Heavenheart told everyone else what Li Xiandao said. Tian Guangming said with envy, Master found the person to inherit the fallen angel? That should be the case. Gabriel nodded and was a little stunned. Many memories entered his mind regarding the fallen angel. It was the same for battle angel Michael. Is the fallen angel strong? Tian Guangming asked carefully. After all, he had just inherited the primordial divinity, so he might not be as strong as him. Thus, Tian Guangming wouldn't be the weakest under Master. Tian Guangming cared a lot about that. The peak fallen angel could fight 1 against 6 and only the God King could beat him. Battle Angel Michael said. Even if he didn't want to admit it, the fallen angel was really strong and in the God race, he was only weaker than the God King. Even if the person who takes over the fallen angel is immortal, once he merges with it, you can't beat him. This is because the fallen angel's body is really special and the person who can inherit it must be really suitable. Gabriel dealt a blow to Tian Guangming. So, you are saying that I am the weakest? Tian Guangming gulped. His eyes blacked out and he was filled with despair. White Emperor, I am still slightly weaker than you. Wu Xianer consoled Tian Guangming. What is the use? Your talent is invincible. Such a short time has passed and you've reached the 5th stage of Heaven Essence. I tried so hard to cultivate and I'm only slightly higher than you. You are about to exceed me already. Tian Guangming sulked. In truth, you can't beat Wu Xianer. If you don't improve, Master will choose to abandon you. Heavenheart spoke Tian Guangming's worry aloud. You all continue to discuss. I will head out. Anyway, I am very weak and won't be of much help. Tian Guangming stood up and said. Where are you going? Heavenheart asked. I'm going to become stronger. Tian Guangming said firmly. He turned around and left without stopping at all. He was the White Emperor and he had to become a really strong subordinate under Li Xiandao. Forget it, let him go. He doesn't feel very good. Gabriel stopped Heavenheart. Okay, let us plan how to get the world coordinates from the Crown Prince. Heavenheart said. In the Bank of the Universe, Li Xiandao summoned fallen angel Lucifer, who had just merged with the primordial divinity. Greetings Master. Lucifer was dressed in black and wore a mask like Li Xiandao, 1 black and 1 white which covered his young face. Why are you wearing a mask? Li Xiandao asked. I want to become the strongest sword in your hands, so I need people to fear me. This young face is a problem, so wearing a mask solves the problem. From now onwards, there is only fallen angel Lucifer. Lucifer replied. Not bad, you are really determined. How is the merging process? Li Xiandao nodded his head in satisfaction. Perfect, I am already Lucifer. Lucifer said confidently. Light and darkness body with no talent at all, but he merged with the fallen angel's primordial divinity. This perfect body was used to carry the invincible Lucifer. Very good. Now, you can return to your own sect to help me get the star guidance map. Xiandao said calmly. Lucifer was surprised. 10,000 ancient celestial sect. His previous sect was 10,000 ancient celestial sect. Yes, star guidance map is in 10,000 ancient celestial sect. Go and get it while also taking revenge. After that, meet up with Michael and Gabriel and start the last part of the plan. Xiandao nodded his head. Lucifer has received the order. Lucifer knelt down on one knee and said firmly. Go. Xiandao waved his hand and Lucifer's body turned to smoke. After seeing Lucifer disappear, Seven said, Now, only Moon Angel Yuzuna is left. Who will you give it to? Xiandao smiled, someone fated for it. Who is this person? Seven asked. This will depend on the heavens. Xiandao reached out and touched Seven's snow-white forehead. In just a second, he turned around and left. Seven squinted and stared at Xiandao's back. In heaven and earth battlefield, Lucifer appeared where he had previously laid. Snow had covered his previous tracks but it couldn't cover the rage in his heart. He looked around coldly. He knelt down and sniffed, finding the familiar scent of his master, senior sister, and senior brother. You all destroyed my perfect future. Lucifer said calmly before walking forwards quickly. On a mountain peak, Lucifer saw Master and the two of them from hundreds of miles away. They were joking with one another like they were a family. Beside them was Lucifer's talent. Master was really smart and didn't rush to merge with it. Go and die. Lucifer looked at them and said softly. He wasn't prepared to question his master, to question his senior sister and senior brother. No matter what they said, they weren't able to avoid death. Then, why not just kill them right away? Lucifer reached out and the mountain 100 miles away instantly collapsed. Hong! It instantly turned to dust. Under the peak saint's domain, master, senior sister, and senior brother had all died. Not even a corpse remained. Revenge is just killing people. Lucifer muttered. Chapter 92, Suppressing the Crown Prince. Ancient desolate land, Shengjing. The Crown Prince's residence was really outstanding. It was the most luxurious residence in the center of the city. During these few days, the Crown Prince had sent people to find out information about Long Mingzu, but they didn't find out anything useful. Your Highness, Long Mingzu brought a few helpers and they have been staying in Long Beishuan's manor. They haven't gone anywhere and we can't do anything about it at all. His Highness' subordinates complained. The Crown Prince frowned and said, Long Beishuan and Long Mingzu have been annoyed at one another for a while. Now that she has actually brought her men to stay in Long Beishuan's manor for quite a while, it seems like Long Mingzu has won. It is indeed the case. According to our spies, Long Beishuan has been locked in his room and is unwilling to come out. Long Mingzu is the one in charge of things at Long Beishuan's residence now. The subordinate nodded his head. Now, I am really interested. Long Beishuan obtained the support of Daimei Holy Land, so how did Long Mingzu escape? Moreover, how did she control Long Beishuan? The Crown Prince laughed coldly. Just at that moment, a servant dashed over. Your Highness, Princess Long Mingzu has brought people over to visit. The Crown Prince frowned. What is she planning for her to come to visit me now? Your Highness, no matter what her plan is, this is your territory, so what do you have to fear? The subordinate reminded. The Crown Prince nodded his head and said, Bring Long Mingzu to the main hall. I will be out right away. Outside the residence, Long Mingzu, Heavenheart, and Gabriel stood at the entrance with solemn expressions on their faces. Will we demand the world coordinates directly from the Crown Prince? Long Mingzu frowned as she looked at Heavenheart. Last night when they were discussing solutions, Heavenheart directly said that they would ask the Crown Prince for the world coordinates. Long Mingzu was terrified and thought that he was joking. Who knew that Heavenheart would drag Long Mingzu and Gabriel over to the Crown Prince's residence today? Why worry so much? Heavenheart smiled calmly and said. The Crown Prince has a Dao Saint in his residence. Long Mingzu said. I am a Dao Saint too. Heavenheart said calmly. I know you are, but if you really fight him and we cause a huge ruckus and father finds out, it would be tough for us. Long Mingzu frowned. This was Shengjing inner city, it wasn't a normal place. There would be a huge mess if two Dao Saints started fighting. Heavenheart smiled confidently and said, Don't worry, we won't fight. Don't be too rash or you might end up messing up Master's plan. When that happens Master might punish you. Long Mixu warned Heaven Heart. If they headed over and asked for the world coordinates, it would be totally disregarding the Crown Prince's wishes. If he was really furious and wanted to fight them, it could cause such a commotion that the entire Shengjing would find out. In the end, they would be the unlucky ones. My father is a sexist and if this issue becomes huge, no matter whether or not I am wrong, I will be seriously punished. Long Mixu was worried. It won't get into a mess. Heaven Heart smiled confidently. He's just a Dao saint. How big can he blow this up to? Gabriel laughed coldly. Today, Long Mixu, let me teach you a huge lesson. Heaven Heart said to Long Mixu seriously. What? Long Mixu was stunned. When you are strong enough, remember that you will be able to directly crush people. No matter what others say, think, or do, you will be invincible. Heaven Heart smiled. His face was filled with confidence. To the Crown Prince, we are invincible. We can directly crush the Dao Saint. If the Crown Prince dares to say anything, we will just trash him. As long as we can get the world coordinates, everything else is trivial. Heaven Heart described it simply. Long Mixu blinked and didn't say anything else. That was indeed the case. No matter how much trouble they caused, as long as they built up the world-grade teleportation formation, nothing was serious enough for Li Xiandao and the Bank of the Universe. Creak. The door opened and a slave walked out. He said respectfully, Princess, His Highness will receive you in the main hall. Long Mixu nodded her head with cold pride before walking forwards without any hesitation at all. Heaven Heart and Gabriel followed behind her, each one of them taking a side. In the main hall, the Crown Prince appeared after Long Mixu entered. What a rare guest! Although you helped me in the past, you never came to my residence. Why did you come today? The Crown Prince smiled and asked. I wouldn't have come if I had no reason. I came today to ask Big Brother to give me a treasure. Long Mixu was really direct and didn't beat around the bush at all. What treasure? The Crown Prince frowned. Her being so direct shocked him. World coordinates. Long Mixu's eyes lit up as she said. What do you need that for? The Crown Prince frowned tightly and asked. Big Brother, although we have different mothers, we have the same father and we are related by blood. I came today because I really need the world coordinates, but as for the reason, I really can't tell you. Long Mixu said. Is that the kind of attitude you have when you are asking for something? The Crown Prince's face sunk in displeasure. Even if it was of no use to him, he wouldn't give it to her. Crown Prince, you'd better take the world coordinates now, otherwise, I am afraid that old man in the underground palace of the residence won't be able to protect you. Heaven Heart said calmly. What are you saying? The Crown Prince stared at Heaven Heart in rage. His underground palace was really hidden and the old man inside was hidden really deep. He was his trump card and very few people knew about it. How did this monk know? The Crown Prince's eyes turned dark and many emotions welled up inside of him. Do you still want to struggle? Heaven Heart shook his head in disdain and he kicked the ground. Dong! An invisible power seeped in and stretched into the palace, finding the old man instantly. Explosion! In the underground palace, the old man opened his eyes. He raised his head in disbelief and with a stretch of his hand, a protective layer appeared to block the attack. But this hidden underground palace collapsed instantly. On the ground, everyone only felt a small vibration. What did you do? The Crown Prince had a bad feeling and chided Heaven Heart. Sit down. Heaven Heart said calmly, but his expression was ice cold. Hong! A layer of energy spread around and formed a space where 10,000 Buddhas started to chant. This is the domain. Although the Crown Prince was only a small saint, he had seen many things and immediately recognized it. He looked at Heaven Heart in fear. This monk was actually at Dao Saint realm. Only a Dao Saint could comprehend the domain. Who are you to dare to act so arrogantly in the Crown Prince's residence? Someone underground hollered in rage. Then, an old man charged out in rage. This was the Dao Saint who was under the Crown Prince. Save me! The Crown Prince shouted. He saw hope and became really emotional. Sit down. Heaven Heart said coldly once more. The Crown Prince sat on his butt in the domain. His back was really straight and he couldn't move at all as he looked towards Heaven Heart with a wronged expression. You bald camel, I am going to wipe out 9 generations of your family. The Crown Prince's heart was filled with anger. Chapter 93, Got the World Coordinates. Let the Crown Prince go. The old man in the underground palace said coldly. Crown Prince, it is best if you hand the world coordinates to me. Only then can you be safe. Heavenheart smiled and said calmly. You know that I am the Crown Prince and you still dare to do that. The Crown Prince was infuriated and even his gaze was spitting flames. Long Mingzu, this is Shengjing and I am the Crown Prince. I am father's eldest son. Are you planning on rebelling? The Crown Prince hollered in rage. A normal person would have been really terrified by that. But Long Mingzu just sat at her original seat and said calmly, there is no need to use your status to scare me. If I was really afraid of you, I really wouldn't have come. What made you so bold? The Crown Prince stared at Long Mingzu in rage. Father doesn't like the daughters. You have always been smart and hidden your talents. I won't find fault with you since you helped me many times in the past, but you have gone overboard this time. Long Mingzu clenched her petite hands and bit her lips so hard that blood flowed. She laughed coldly, hee that's true. Father doesn't like his daughters and only loves his sons. Is it just because you have something extra at your crotch? I am a daughter, so I was born to be bullied by you all. You are the Crown Prince, but in my eyes you are trash. You had so many resources and only reached Saint now. I had less than 0.1% of what you had and have already touched the cusp of Saint realm. If I had your resources, I would have already entered Great Saint. Let me tell you, your resources, your connections, your plans are just so weak to me. Everything that you have came from our father. If father stops rewarding and giving you any more things, then you will be in trouble. You are not independent at all and didn't try to recruit those closest to the royal family. You are just so dumb. Crown Prince, no matter what, you have to hand over the world coordinates, otherwise, I will personally castrate you. I think since the start of the 10,000 Dragon Empire till now, there hasn't been a single eunuch who has become an emperor, right? Long Mingzu looked at the Crown Prince coldly, especially at his crotch. The Crown Prince's face went berserk and he cursed, you, crazy woman, actually want to castrate me. You deserve to die. Sir Yang, save me, quick save me. Kill them all. Long Mingzu laughed coldly. He stared at the Crown Prince without blinking at all such that he scarred him psychologically. He actually felt his crotch start to hurt. Sir Yang looked on coldly and when he heard Long Mingzu's words, he scoffed coldly, how disgusting. For such a daughter to come out of the royal family is such a disgrace. Long Mingzu's eyes turned cold. Gabriel stepped out and grabbed at the air. Clang! A sword glow rung out. God Saint sword technique. Talk any more and today I will let you die here. Gabriel said coldly. Sir Yang laughed. You are just at the 4th level and you dare to act so arrogantly in front of me. Sir Yang didn't hesitate to wave his sleeves. Tru Chi bellowed, turning into a giant serpent that opened its mouth and swallowed the sword energy. Die. Sir Yang scoffed coldly and used the cultivation technique he had spent his whole life training. Snake Spirit Technique. This move was really powerful. He had nurtured this snake spirit for half his life and it could swallow dragon finches. Just a few streaks of sword energy weren't a problem at all. But he forgot that the item in Gabriel's hand wasn't a normal weapon either. It was a celestial artifact. The sword glow from the celestial artifact was swallowed by the snake spirit and it instantly went berserk. You are asking to die. When Gabriel saw those scenes, he laughed in disdain. Keng keng keng. The few sword energies charged about in its stomach. The slices caused the snake spirit to go insane. It smashed its tail around and shattered many things in the hall. Domain. Sir Yang's expression was really ugly. Since he saw that the snake spirit couldn't deal with Gabriel, he instantly took out the signature Dao Saint move. Domain. Snake Spirit Domain. At that moment, hundreds of poisonous snakes appeared in the few meters around Sir Yang. Every one of them was poisonous and vicious. When Gabriel saw this, he wasn't terrified at all. His gaze became sharp and targeted Sir Yang. Dao Saint Domain can't block the sharpness of a celestial sword. Today, I will kill you. Gabriel said coldly. The moment he said this his body shone brightly. He appeared in the domain and slashed down. A cold light flashed across and with a sharpness that could slice apart one's skin, it landed in the domain. Sir Yang's pupils constricted and he retreated. He realized that the celestial sword was terrifyingly strong. A celestial artifact was just so scary. Explosion! The snake spirit's domain was sliced into two. The few hundred snakes cried out in pain and they died a really tragic death. The snake spirit relied on the domain and without it, it wouldn't be able to live. You actually have a celestial artifact. Sir Yang looked towards Gabriel in shock and rage. I told you that I would kill you today. Gabriel didn't talk any nonsense, slashing at him right away. He wasn't weak and with the celestial artifact, if he slashed him he would get injured, and if he managed to stab him, he would be dead. Sir Yang didn't dare to get close at all and retreated. He dodged and looked on in shock. In the end, he just fled without turning his head. You win today but I will take revenge, Sir Yang threatened. Gabriel didn't chase. He just stood there carrying his sword and looked on with disdain. What a coward! If you dared to fight me head-on, could you even survive? Gabriel scoffed. This was Shenjing's inner city and if they fought here, all the experts would swarm over in a short moment. At that point, they would definitely die. Unfortunately, Sir Yang was scared off and ran away without a trace. When the Crown Prince saw these scenes, he stood there with his mouth agape. The Dao Saint spent vast sums of money each year to hire him. The trump card he thought was really strong. His hope of getting saved had fled. Long Mixu was really happy and gave a genuine smile. Ha ha ha, my eyes have really been opened today. A Dao Saint actually fled like that, how embarrassing. Crown Prince, do you have anything to say now? His face was terrifyingly dark and sunken as he hollered, let me go and I will go grab the world coordinates. Heavenheart gave a gentle smile and released the restrictions. The Crown Prince walked into his room expressionless and took out a transparent, jade-like thing. It was squarish like a rock but it was transparent like jade. It contained a lot of energy that unfortunately couldn't be absorbed. Here. The Crown Prince placed the world coordinates down in rage. Good, we will do as we promised and leave now. After Long Mixu checked it, she left decisively. If they dragged for too long and Sir Yang brought reinforcements back, it would be a huge problem. Let's go. Heavenheart and Gabriel swiftly disappeared too. All that was left was an extremely furious Crown Prince in a messed up main hall. Chapter 94, 10,000 Ancient Celestial Sect. 10,000 Ancient Celestial Sect was one of the 10 top orthodox sects in ancient desolate land. The traditions of 10,000 Ancient Celestial Sect had been passed down for a very long time. They had tens of thousands of disciples and competition was very intense with there being many geniuses. The current Lucifer, White Heaven in the past, was a member of this place. Although he spent just a year here, White Heaven had many conflicted feelings towards 10,000 Ancient Celestial Sect. This place gave him warmth for a period of time, but what happened next proved that the warmth was fake. Even if that was the case, the period of warmth had existed. Now that White Heaven had become Lucifer, he saw many familiar scenes. A hint of melancholy appeared in Lucifer's cold gaze. All the beautiful dreams that a youth should have had were wiped clear by his master's betrayal. From now on, Lucifer would have nothing to do with 10,000 Ancient Celestial Sect. Dao Saint cultivation made it really simple for Lucifer to enter 10,000 Ancient Celestial Sect. After all, he was familiar with 10,000 Ancient Celestial Sect and knew which path to take to not get noticed. The disciples were all pumped up and excited in the morning. They headed out to absorb the essence of heaven and earth and started their daily cultivation. Lucifer avoided the large crowd and walked around the mountain range. Apart from guiding the direction, the star guidance map was pretty much useless, which was why it wasn't an important treasure here in 10,000 Ancient Celestial Sect. Lucifer walked really carefully and finally reached the 10,000 Ancient Celestial Sect treasury. It was a huge hall that was built on a mountain peak. This peak was the core area of the entire 10,000 Ancient Celestial Sect. No matter where one was in the sect, one could raise their head and look at the peak and see the treasury. This was why 10,000 Ancient Celestial Sect placed their treasures here without any worries at all. 2 great saints were in charge of guarding it. Unfortunately, they had just entered Great Saint, so they were no match for Lucifer. Thud. Once Lucifer got close, he released his aura and used it to suppress them. Right away, they fainted. From this, one could see how strong of a Dao Saint was. Creak. Lucifer pushed open the large door and what he saw before him were endless treasures. There was a whole world inside here like a giant city where many treasures were hidden. Each treasure gave off its own aura. There were restrictions and formations all around and each treasure was sealed really well. The person who came in to take the treasure had to have the unsealing technique that only the sect would have. This was why 10,000 ancient celestial sect was at ease putting all their treasures here. Lucifer looked at the formations and frowned a little. He was unable to take away the treasure without triggering the formation. After all, he wasn't a professional at formation techniques. Even if I take the star guidance map, no one will be able to stop me. Lucifer looked around and slowly searched for the star guidance map. He searched for a short while before finding it in an unassuming corner. Lucifer confirmed that it was indeed real before he reached out and grabbed it. Kaka. The formation was forcefully broken and Lucifer managed to grab the star guidance map in his hands. Explosion. Suddenly, the hall started to rage and shake. It made a loud noise which reverberated through the mountains. At that instant, the numerous disciples, elders, sect leader, and secluded elders looked at the mountain peak. There was a palace atop it and there was a loud siren going off. He's so bold. He actually dares to sneak into my 10,000 ancient celestial sect. A thief actually dares to steal from our 10,000 ancient celestial sect. He is asking to die. It has been days since anyone has been so bold. Men have locked down the area. We can't let the thief escape. 10,000 ancient celestial sect's sect leader said coldly. Explosion. At that instant, the entire 10,000 ancient celestial sect was on alert and numerous elders dashed towards the treasury. Lucifer frowned. He placed the star guidance map in his clothes and then his aura started to climb. 12 pairs of wings appeared on his back which brought him up into the air. Hong! Lucifer charged out from the hall, and a rumbling, black mist followed behind him. In just an instant, he swung away the bunch of elders and disciples who charged over. The thief is in the sky. Kill him! An elder shouted in rage. Eat my sword! A small saint elder attacked. The sword was really sharp and slashed down from above. Lucifer looked at him coldly and pulled out his treasure which was a demonic blade. It was extremely terrifying and huge, and he slashed down viciously. Scram! Lucifer's cold voice reached every single corner of 10,000 ancient celestial sect. Explosion! The attack from the demonic blade sent dozens of small saints flying. Each of them spat out blood and they felt intense pain all over their bodies. All of them looked at Lucifer in terror. This was also after he had shown mercy. Since 10,000 ancient celestial sect had taken him in for a period of time, he didn't kill all of them. Hong! After Lucifer struck them away, he didn't stay at all. His 12 pairs of wings flapped and he was so quick that even those at Dao Saint Realm wouldn't be able to catch him. Open the mountain protecting formation. The 10,000 ancient celestial sect leader hollered in rage as he didn't want to allow Lucifer to leave. Die! Killing intent flashed in Lucifer's eyes. He slashed the sky, and black and white mixed together, which looked really vicious. Pui! The sect leader, who was only at small saint realm, was instantly beheaded and died then and there. Lucifer didn't even turn his head. He just flapped his wings and flew away. Within 10,000 ancient celestial sect, when the Dao Saint in seclusion saw these scenes, he was infuriated and shouted, "Our 10,000 ancient celestial sect won't rest until we kill him." This wasn't humiliation from losing a treasure, but humiliation from the fact that their sect leader had been killed. If 10,000 ancient celestial sect didn't do anything, then they would lose their dignity. Lucifer, who managed to flee from 10,000 ancient celestial sect, stopped. He looked into the distance and contacted Xiandao. Master, I have acquired the star guidance map. Where should I go next? Lucifer asked. Is it Shengjing? Lucifer was not sure if Battle Angel Michael and the rest were still in Shengjing, so he asked. The Bank of the Universe. Li Xiandao and Seven looked on silently and said, head to Outer Fortress Dragon Sect. They will head there too to meet with you. All of you will gather the world-breaking blade. Lucifer said, yes master, I will head there right away. Li Xiandao nodded his head in satisfaction. Don't worry about anything else. As long as you get the world-breaking blade, I will be able to cross worlds and nothing will be a problem anymore. Lucifer nodded his head and said, I will get the world-breaking blade for master. The moment the call ended, Lucifer flapped his wings and disappeared into the horizon. Shengjing. Li Xiandao quickly contacted Heavenheart to bring the world coordinates and the other materials to Outer Fortress Dragon Sect to obtain the last item, the world-breaking blade. Yes, master. Heavenheart placed his palms together and said softly. Chapter 95, Fighting the Dragon Sect. The area outside the city walls of ancient desolate land was split into many regions. There was the Northern Alliance dynasty, the 18 demon sects, and also the Dragon sect. The Dragon sect was in the north, in an extremely north region. It was said that in this area, dozens of real dragons flew into the sky and stunned everyone. That's why this place was called the Dragon sect. Long Mixu and Heavenheart didn't stop after forcefully acquiring the world coordinates from the Crown Prince. They headed over here right away. The black ground seemed really desolate, there were very few people here, and the place felt even more secluded than the plains. This was the true scenery of the north. There were no signs of life for 1,000 miles and there was no one within a 10,000 mile radius. This was characteristic of the northern region. Heavenheart and the others arrived here and looked around to confirm their location. Where is the Dragon sect? Gabriel asked Long Mixu. Long Mixu took out the intel that she got from Sister Min and said, Outer Fortress Dragon sect is in a majestic cave region. Normally, the people who stay here are a race of people from the High Mountain race. They believe in the High Mountain God spirit and have developed their own culture and civilization. There was a period of time when they were very famous and although that time has passed, there are still many great Saint Realm people. Where is it? Heavenheart looked around and asked. It is far in the north. Let's continue to head deeper and we will see many giant caves. In the caves live those High Mountain race people. The 7 demon blades are in their hands. Long Mixu said. Then, let's continue to move deeper. Has the fallen angel come? Gabriel was worried. Without the fallen angel, they only had 2 peak great saints and it wouldn't be easy. There is no need to worry. I believe that the fallen angel will definitely come. Heavenheart smiled confidently and didn't worry at all. This is an important matter for Master. Only White Emperor Tian Guangming has disappeared but his presence doesn't matter at all. If fallen angel dares to waste time and ends up making Master angry, he will be the unlucky one in the end. Michael said. He didn't believe that fallen angel Lucifer would dare to delay time and not rush over here. There is no point in talking more. Let's just rush over to Dragon sect and meet with the fallen angel. After all, the path here isn't peaceful and there are many people who are targeting us. Heavenheart said. Long Mixu's face turned dark, they are people under the Crown Prince as well as those who support him. They are all tracking us and aren't giving up at all. That's normal, you insulted the Crown Prince so badly, so how could he not want to take revenge? Michael said calmly. There is no need to fear those people. Now, it is time for us to get those 7 demon blades first. The moment Heavenheart said this, he stepped forwards and his body reappeared hundreds of miles away. The other people used their own skills to dash towards the Dragon sect. Shengjing. Since Long Mixu and their group were gone, the Crown Prince saved Long Beijuan. Long Beijuan was full of hate towards Long Mixu, Heavenheart and the others, and chose to work with the Crown Prince without any hesitation. He told the Crown Prince everything he knew. After the Crown Prince received the intel, his face became vicious and his eyes flashed red. Wishful thinking. I want them to die in the north. Inform the 3 powers to hunt them down. I will go over personally and kill her myself. The 3 sects that supported the Crown Prince all had their own Dao Saint experts. They were all top members of the sect and this time, due to the Crown Prince's rage, they were all mobilized. I will tell people from Daimei Holy Land to attack too. All their undead warriors were killed, so they will definitely take revenge. Long Beijuan gritted his teeth and was filled with hatred. This time I will gather 10 Dao Saints. I don't believe that the 10 of them can suppress those 2. The Crown Prince clapped his hands furiously as he continued to stare towards the north. Long Mixu and her helpers had to die. There is definitely a reason why they are heading to the north. They have been muttering behind my back and also snatched your world coordinates. They probably want to craft the world-grade teleportation formation. Long Beijuan was not dumb at all. He had been humiliated so badly in his home. He tried his best to seek the truth, and in the end, he really found out. World-grade teleportation formation. The Crown Prince frowned and then scoffed coldly, no matter what, we have to attack this time. I will send out the news that they were the ones who attacked the founder demon sect. I will let the demon sects send men to attack them too. This is a good plan. Founder demon sect is one of the 18 demon path sects. The other demon sects will take revenge for them and Great Xia dynasty won't let Long Mixu escape either. Long Beijuan clapped and became really emotional. There were so many enemies, so how would Long Mixu not die this time? You actually dare to imprison me and humiliate me. So what if you are my sister? You will definitely pay the price. Long Beishuan cursed in his heart. He wanted to wipe out family. Within 10,000 ancient celestial sect, a few elders sat together in rage. We just received news that the masked thief with 12 pairs of wings has headed towards the north and appeared near the dragon sect. An elder suppressed his rage and said, even if he is a Dao saint, he killed our sect leader and deserves to die. The few of us haven't exercised in a long time. We will personally attack to deal with him. An elder, who had a hot temper and a slightly red face, exploded. That's right. The 7 of us will attack and that small Dao saint will definitely die. No matter whether or not he has any helpers, he will definitely die. It is best if he does. We will kill his helpers too and let them know that our 10,000 ancient celestial sect cannot be offended. The few elders were all filled with rage. The humiliation from being robbed and having their sect leader killed was just too severe. They had to take revenge. An eye for an eye. Blood for blood. The 10,000 ancient celestial sect elders stood up, all of them turned into streaks of light and they disappeared from the hall. Great Xia dynasty. A white-haired male carrying a dragon finch blade looked towards the dragon sect. My great Xia dynasty never planned to expand, but no one can think about acting arrogantly in our territory. Founder Demon Sect is a sect under us and is allies with us, paying us tributes each year. Great Xia has to help such a great sect take revenge. The white-haired male said solemnly. Thank you, sir. Founder Demon Sect's sect leader was so emotional that he teared up. I will head to Dragon Sect now and use this great Xia Dragonfinch to slice off his head to take revenge for your founder Demon Sect. The white-haired male shot through the sky and disappeared after saying this. The 18 Demon Path sects and the leader Primitive Demon Sect found out about the matter. The 18 of them came from the same source and supported one another. This was something that the Primitive Demon Sect proclaimed when they started. Now that Founder Demon Sect faced trouble, Primitive Demon Sect sent 3 elders to take revenge for them. A storm was coming. A battle was brewing and it would take place at the Dragon Sect. Chapter 96, Splitting Up. The Dragon Sect. This legend was definitely the most famous one in the region. Dozens of dragons hid deep underground and fell asleep for tens of thousands of years. One day they all woke up, causing the ground and mountains to shake as they flew up to the celestial world. Long Mingzu said, I don't know when that legend started but all the kids in ancient desolate land have heard about it. Although Dragon Sect is secluded, everyone remembers this legend. Is this legend real? Wu Xian'er asked curiously. I am not sure. There were people who tried to prove the validity of the rumor and spent 10 years digging in the Dragon Sect. The person found magma but was still unable to find any dragons, thus leaving a thread of falsity to the rumor. Long Mingzu shook her head. Look, there are many caves in front. Michael's eyes lit up and he said in shock. After crossing a tall mountain, they saw many giant stone caves. Stone caves were the paths in the area and they shone brightly under the sun. There were several hundred Buddha statues carved into the walls of the caves. Some seemed really merciful while others had furious gazes. Opposite the few hundred Buddha statues were statues of hell demons that did whatever they wanted. Some female ones exposed their breasts and looked really open, while some evil demons slashed their stomachs, pulling out their hearts and were drenched in fresh blood. The demon and Buddha statues stood opposing one another. The giant impact on one's senses caused Michael's breathing to speed up. This was just the tip of the iceberg. There were tens of thousands of these in the entire Dragon Sect region. No one had counted but it was pretty much an ocean of stone cave statues. Numerous different statues were carved into the many giant mountains. There were monsters, beasts, humans, demons, ancient divinities, spirits of heaven, and earth. Long Mingzu exclaimed, this is the wonderful scenery of Dragon Sect, the Dragon Sect stone caves. It is really majestic, people must have spent tens of thousands of years carving these. Generation after generation of people worked so hard to create such a beautiful sight. Gabriel nodded his head. Such beauty. Heaven Heart evaluated. The High Mountain Race was the one who did all this. Wu Xian'er asked. Long Mingzu nodded. High Mountain Race is split into several branches that don't interfere in each other's lives. There were even several branches that were enemies with one another. For example, the Buddha statues and devil statues, they were definitely made by 2 opposing branches. You carve Buddha statues and I carve demons. Although High Mountain Race doesn't have internal battles now, these simple conflicts are continuing. Long Mingzu added. Before coming here, she went over to learn more from Sister Min and she understood everything about the high mountain race. Where is the high mountain race? Wu Xian'er looked around and didn't notice them. They are in the caves. Some caves here are tall like mountain peaks while some are short like hills. The high mountain race built houses in those caves and started to reproduce and farm. Long Mixu reached out and pointed at some of those high mountain race houses. Where are the 7 demon blades that make up the world-breaking blade? Michael asked. They are in the 7 biggest branches of the high mountain race. We just need to move deeper in and we can see them. Long Mixu said right away. But I feel that we do need to wait for the fallen angel. After all, he will be of huge help. Long Mixu added. She was still really worried as each branch of high mountain race had several Dao saints. There is no use in waiting as he is already here. Michael's lips curled up. He looked into the distance and said. Long Mixu and Wu Xian'er immediately looked behind them. Gabriel and Heavenheart smiled and were prepared to welcome their new partner. They looked on in anticipation. Angels had a connection between each other, so it was normal for Michael to know that Lucifer was here. Heavenheart had reached Dao realm, so naturally, he could sense Lucifer's arrival. Only Wu Xian'er and Long Mixu were weaker and couldn't sense him. On the horizon, a black mist shot through the sky. In the blink of an eye, he landed beside everyone. Long Mixu and Wu Xian'er were shocked. They took a few steps back but saw that Michael, Gabriel and Heavenheart were standing rooted to the spot and weren't moving at all. Hong! The black mist scattered. A tall guy with a black and white mixed mask walked out. Fallen angel Lucifer greets all of you. Lucifer said solemnly. His immature voice appeared lower and it was as if he had been through a lot of hardships in life. Battle Angel Michael meets Sir Lucifer. Michael placed his fist at his chest to express his respect. Archangel Gabriel greets Sir Lucifer. Gabriel was the same and he expressed his respect towards Lucifer. Lucifer in the past was only weaker than the God King in the God race. He was the judicator in the race and then he gave up his position and chose to come down to earth. He fell from the God race to the depths of hell and merged with both hell and heaven's energies. He became the top being in hell, the fallen angel Lucifer. This was why there was nothing wrong with Gabriel and Michael expressing their respects for him. Lucifer nodded his head towards them and then he looked at Heavenheart. Greetings, Heavenheart. I have long heard of fallen angel Lucifer. With you here, this matter would be much simpler to complete. Heavenheart smiled. Of course, he smiled. He was originally the only Dao saint. Although Gabriel could fight against other Dao saints, that was just in terms of power. After all, he didn't have a Dao domain. Now that fallen angel Lucifer was here, Heavenheart felt much less pressure on himself. Master, I'll let you lead this time, so I will follow your orders, Lucifer said. There was no expression on the face hidden underneath the mask at all. Let's let Long Mixu introduce herself to us and let's discuss which piece we should take first. Heavenheart asked. Long Mixu's eyes lit up and said, we will definitely go for the bloodletting blade first. The branch that it is in only has one Dao saint. Although they have few people, their overall strength is still quite great. One can imagine how with just one Dao saint he can keep the bloodletting blade, so he must definitely be strong. Heavenheart nodded. We can go together. There are 3 of us, Long Mixu suggested. Heavenheart shook his head, no, I will go for this one. It is just one Dao saint. I will take the bloodletting blade while you all get something else. I feel like something huge is about to happen. We have to rush and build the world-grade teleportation formation. Heavenheart raised his head. He looked at the sky that was covered in dark clouds and said solemnly. When I came, some people noticed me and they seemed to have informed 10,000 ancient celestial sect, Lucifer said. Long Mixu, bring them to the next place. I will go get the bloodletting blade. We will meet up after we acquire the pieces. After all, it still takes time to craft the formation, Heavenheart said decisively. Long Mixu took in a deep breath. Chapter 97, Faith Collapses. Dragon Sect Stone Cave. A handicapped, old man was carved into a lone mountain. He held a broken banner in his hand and seemed really unassuming. At the very least, this sculpture was not comparable to the other many majestic and exquisite stone caves around. Heavenheart arrived here. There were dozens of branches within High Mountain Race and this was one of them. There were very few people around here, maybe only a few hundred of them who were living in the area. This branch was called Cloud Banner. The Cloud Banner people worshipped the High Mountain God, but they were physically different from the other High Mountain race people. They weren't that modern. Since they started worshipping the High Mountain God, they stuck to the rules and didn't change anything. This was also the reason why their numbers had reduced. They locked themselves in and didn't contact the outside world, shunning outsiders. They were totally different from the other High Mountain race branches who started to modernize their lifestyles. This was why they were slowly disappearing in the annals of history. Long Mingzu brought the others to some place else while only Heavenheart came to this place alone. On the top of the lone mountain, which was the old man's head, there was a temple that worshipped the High Mountain God. Heavenheart arrived here and didn't hide his Dao Saint aura at all. Hong! The Dao Saint aura caused the entire group of people to tremble. They all retreated in fear and looked on in terror. Heavenheart didn't think about attacking at all. There were only a few hundred of them, and if he slapped down, he would be able to smack all of them to death. He was not a monk who loved to kill. Intruder, why did you come to my High Mountain race land? A cold voice shouted out. It was from an elder in the hall. This old man wore a black veil that covered his face and only revealed his eyes. He had been kneeling on the ground and worshipping the High Mountain God for the whole night. Heavenheart stepped forward, disregarding the people around him as he walked to the entrance. Stop! The old man stared in rage. You are a heretic, so you aren't allowed to enter the hall. Scram! The old man scolded. Heavenheart found it weird and said, So, I am a heretic just because I don't worship your god. Of course. The High Mountain God is supreme, he is the only god in the universe. If you don't believe in him, then you are a heretic. The old man said coldly. But he didn't attack as he too was worried about Heavenheart's Dao realm cultivation. There are thousands of gods in this world. Even the Buddhist ancestor who I worship does not force others to believe in him. Heavenheart frowned. This High Mountain God was just so overbearing. Or rather, this religion was just too much. This is the difference between my High Mountain God and the other fake gods. The High Mountain God is supreme, the only one in the universe, so of course, he is the only true God. Naturally, people who don't believe in him are heretics. The old man said fervently. Heavenheart laughed coldly and asked, Do you believe that I would shatter your High Mountain God and destroy your hall? How dare you? The old man instantly exploded like a balloon that had been pricked. His eyes were opened wide in rage. Let's see whether I dare to. Heavenheart scoffed coldly. He stepped forwards and a domain appeared around him. Buddhas chanting scriptures together sounded really mysterious. The sound was really loud and it suppressed all the other noise in the High Mountain God temple. A saint light shone brightly in the temple. This infuriated the old man and he hated Heavenheart to the bone. He didn't ask why the monk was here but just attacked him right away. Hong! A similar domain appeared. In it was the Supreme High Mountain God who held an artifact in his hand. He was really ferocious and attacked right away, eager to destroy Heavenheart. My Buddhas are just chanting scriptures while your God wants to kill me right away. You are even worse than a demon from hell. Heavenheart said coldly. All heretics have to be killed. Killing a heretic and killing other non-believers is also helping the High Mountain God spread faith. The old man was pumped up. He didn't hide his intention to kill Heavenheart. At that point, Heavenheart understood why this High Mountain race had weakened to such an extent. As long as a person didn't believe in the High Mountain God, they were a heretic. Heretics needed to be judged and removed. It would be a miracle if such a race could become powerful. Hong! In the domain, the High Mountain God held an artifact, a giant banner. As he waved it, it gave off a terrifying, sinister aura. There were an endless number of skulls inside that wanted to swallow Heavenheart up and strengthen themselves. Was this the High Mountain God? The God that the whole High Mountain race worshipped? As expected, gods are only able to guide. They are not be totally worshipped and trusted in, otherwise, one might easily lose themselves. Heavenheart sighed in his heart. He was a monk and believed in the Buddha. However, that was just out of respect and not fervent worship. If he was blindly worshipping the Buddha, he wouldn't have fallen into darkness and gone against the rules of Buddhism. Heavenheart was a monk who respected his own thoughts and feelings. This was why he felt really uncomfortable looking at this High Mountain God. Such a demon-like god shouldn't have even existed. Diamond body, furious eyes. Heavenheart instantly became furious. His whole body shone gold as he used the Buddhist techniques. His body was filled with power as he lunged forwards with an elbow. Dong! Thousands of skulls were instantly shattered and turned to dust. The black mist around was scattered and the banner was flung aside. The High Mountain God also broke apart from the strike. Heavenheart went all out and was just so terrifying. With just one strike, he defeated the High Mountain God. He stepped forwards, causing the whole mountain to shake. The entire High Mountain Race God Temple and the old man's domain became really unstable. Ka ka ka! The domain started to crack and it stood no chance in this battle against Heavenheart. The old man was shocked and his faith was on the verge of falling apart. His High Mountain God, the invincible High Mountain God. How could he be so weak? In the past when he faced other Dao Saints, he was able to fight 1 against 2 and even survive 1 against 3. But now against Heavenheart, he was unable to block a single strike. From just a single strike, his domain had totally collapsed. That strike of mine carried with it the rage of the 18 disciples of Buddha. Although the Buddha often smiles, there are times when he is angry too. With the 18 disciples buffing me, you are no match for me at all. Heavenheart used his domain to surround the old man. He was a sheep waiting to be slaughtered. You destroyed my High Mountain God Temple. The old man panicked. Heavenheart ripped apart his domain and now he fell into his domain and was no match for Heavenheart. If they were to fight, he would definitely be killed. But more importantly, the temple had been destroyed. Give me the blood-letting blade. Heavenheart raised his hands and said coldly. The surroundings were in a mess. The temple was destroyed and the statues inside were shattered by Heavenheart's aura. Everything was now in ruins. At that moment, the old man seemed decades older and a deathly energy spread around his body. His faith had collapsed. The God who he believed in for his whole life had been dragged down from the altar, causing him to lose all his dignity. As a Dao Saint, without this faith, he was unable to continue on this path. Heavenheart suddenly didn't feel like killing the man. He felt pity for him, placing his faith and hopes in others. Now that he had lost his High Mountain God, he had lost his purpose in life. Chapter 98, La Mo. After acquiring the blood-letting blade, Heavenheart turned around and left. He left the old man alone, quietly looking at the broken temple in melancholy. From a few hundred miles away, Heavenheart turned around and took a look. The old man was quietly repairing the temple. Brick by brick, he started to rebuild it. As for those statues, he started to carve them once again, stroke by stroke. He chose to continue believing in the High Mountain God. This was because the old man realized that if he didn't believe in the High Mountain God, what else could he do? He spent his whole life living in the temple and worshipping the High Mountain God. He had an outstanding cultivation but didn't use it to compete with others or to change the lives of his people. From start to finish, he just enjoyed spending time in front of the High Mountain God statue, just like 1,000 years ago when his parents brought him into the temple. That was the first time he saw the Supreme High Mountain God. When he was young, he was in awe and entered the High Mountain God Temple. He started small and slowly reached Dao Saint realm and took over the temple. But as time went on, there were fewer and fewer people in the temple. Now, he was the only one remaining who worshipped the High Mountain God. Maybe it is a really romantic thing for me to die along with the High Mountain God. The old man contemplated ending this branch. He would release all the people and not let them die alongside the High Mountain God and himself. The final branch of people in High Mountain race who worshipped the High Mountain God was about to disappear. The other branches had long given up the old traditions and started to become more modern. One could see these changes through the large number of stone statues in all the caves. Some carved Buddhas, some carved demons, some wanted to spread their culture while some just wanted destruction. Heavenheart didn't think too much. After acquiring the blood-letting blade, he dashed into the distance and rushed to meet up with Long Mingzu and the others. They had gotten one of the 7 blades and just needed the remaining 6. In one branch of the High Mountain race, in an enormous ancient city, there lived hundreds of thousands of people. Fallen angel Lucifer flew in the air with his gigantic stature and didn't bother to hide his aura at all. The black and white mixed together and made him look like a true demon king. Hong! Lucifer landed and looked down on the city. He said coldly, "Hand over the bloodthirst blade." Contrary to Heavenheart, Lucifer was more violent and didn't hide his intentions at all. How bold! How can one Dao Saint come and act so arrogantly in front of my High Mountain race? A Dao Saint hollered in rage and flew out. Scram! Lucifer scoffed coldly. The black and white energy around his body smashed down. Explosion! The Dao Saint pulled out his long sword and slashed forwards viciously. Sword energy, a few miles long, clashed against Lucifer's black and white energy, causing a huge shockwave. The clouds in the sky were pushed aside and a huge storm bellowed. Lucifer said coldly, "You alone are no match for me. I don't mind fighting if you want this city to be destroyed." The High Mountain Race Dao Saint was infuriated and he stared at Lucifer. He wanted to attack but he had to consider the lives of the hundreds of thousands inside. "Who are you?" the Dao Saint asked furiously. "An unimportant person. If you don't want the people in the city to die, then hand the bloodthirst blade to me and I will leave." Lucifer was someone who had fallen from heaven and he wasn't a kind person. At this moment, he was using the lives of a city's entire population to threaten the Dao Saint. "You are so despicable and shameless." The High Mountain Race Dao Saint was so angry and viciously scolded him. Lucifer didn't care and said, "As long as I can get the bloodthirst blade, I don't mind using all sorts of shameless methods." The Dao Saint felt powerless. He could disregard the people in the city and fight him. But even if he won, he would have to pay a heavy price. "Why do you want it?" the High Mountain Race Dao Saint asked. "To build the world-grade teleportation formation. Once it is built, I will return the world-breaking blade back to all of you." Lucifer's eyes suddenly shone like he had gotten an order. His tone changed and he stopped being so overbearing. Within the Bank of the Universe, Xiandao and Seven watched these scenes. "Do we still need the world-breaking blade when the formation is built?" Xiandao asked Seven. "No, we just need it to slice open the worlds. Once it is built, then there will be no need for the world-breaking blade anymore," Seven replied. Xiandao nodded his head and informed Lucifer, "Tell them that we just need to borrow the 7 parts of the world-breaking blade. Once we finish using it, we will return it back to them." Xiandao didn't want to be a thief. If he didn't so desperately need the world-breaking blade, he wouldn't have come to this place. When the High Mountain Race Dao Saint heard his words, he was shocked. "You actually want to gather the 7 demon blades?" Lucifer said, "Of course. Just one alone is useless. We have to gather all 7 to form the world-breaking blade. Don't worry. My master just informed me that we will just be borrowing it. After we finish, the world-breaking blade still belongs to your High Mountain Race and you won't lose out on anything," Lucifer said calmly. The High Mountain Race's Dao Saint's voice was uncertain as he asked, "How can I trust you?" "You have no choice because we have to get the world-breaking blade." Lucifer started to force him. The High Mountain Race's Dao Saint's expression turned ugly. "If you don't return it, I will show you the rage of High Mountain Race." "Deal. Since my master has said that he will return it to you, then he will. It is just a world-breaking blade. We don't even care about it," Lucifer said confidently. In truth, that was indeed the case. If they weren't building the world-grade teleportation formation, they wouldn't be wasting their time here. The High Mountain Race's Dao Saints was really annoyed and he continued to stare at Lucifer. "I am leaving. I have to collect the other parts." Lucifer turned around, wanting to leave. "Wait, I will follow you," the High Mountain Race Dao Saint said. Lucifer frowned and his tone turned cold as he said, "We are not playing with you. I am not going to disturb you. The world-breaking blade has been a High Mountain Race legend but no one has managed to gather all 7. I want to see what it looks like," the High Mountain Race Dao Saint said. "What is your name?" Lucifer looked closely at him and didn't reject him. "Mo," the Dao Saint said. "Then, let's go together. If there are some who are close to you, maybe you can help me persuade them," Lucifer said. "That depends. If you really can gather all 7, then maybe I can help you convince them." Mo neither agreed nor rejected the proposition. Chapter 99, High Mountain Race's Hope. Heavenheart rushed over after acquiring the blood-letting blade. Lucifer had also acquired the bloodthirst blade and brought with him a High Mountain Race Dao Saint. The 2 of them moved alone because these 2 were the weakest out of the 7 branches. One was a temple fanatic who was abandoned by time while another was a leader who managed hundreds of thousands of people. If they fought 1 against 1, Lucifer and Heavenheart would be able to take them down. As for Long Mingzu and the others, they went to the 3rd branch to wait for the 2 of them. When Heavenheart brought the blood-letting blade and appeared in their sights, everyone was pumped up. "This is the blood-letting blade." Wu Xianer looked curiously at the blade in Heavenheart's hand. A monk carrying a blade looked so weird. This blood-letting blade was also quite special, there were several caved-in portions at the body of the blade. When one stabbed in and pulled out the blade, the wound wouldn't be able to heal. The victim would just keep on bleeding until they died. Lucifer is not back yet. Heavenheart stabbed the blood-letting blade into the ground and asked. He is back. Gabriel pointed towards the sky at Lucifer and La Mo. When Heavenheart saw Lucifer's bloodthirst blade he nodded his head in satisfaction, but when he saw La Mo, he frowned and asked, "Why did you bring a Dao Saint?" Lucifer explained, "This is La Mo, a high mountain race Dao Saint. He is the owner of the bloodthirst blade and is following us." Lucifer told Heavenheart about Li Xiandao's decision. Heavenheart nodded his head, "Since that is the case, then let's head to the third branch." La Mo said in shock, "That crazy guy had the blood-letting blade and you actually managed to obtain it." Heavenheart was stunned. He understood that the crazy guy La Mo was talking about was the old man in the temple. "Yes, I did." Heavenheart said casually. It was really simple. Although the old man fought him, he was simply no match for him. In just 2 simple moves, he managed to defeat him. La Mo looked towards Heavenheart in shock. "We did want to get the blood-letting blade from him in the past, but in the end, 3 Dao Saints weren't able to suppress him. Now, do you believe that we can gather all 7? Lucifer asked. La Mo said seriously, "I did doubt you before but now I'm hopeful." "Okay, let's head to the third branch to get the demon descending blade and then the solemn murder blade, soul slaying blade, and spirit breaking blade," Michael said. Long Mingzu added, "The third branch is ahead. They have 3 Dao Saints waiting for you. Let's go." "It is best if we start by threatening them instead of fighting," Heavenheart said. La Mo looked forwards at this familiar place. "The 3 Dao Saints here are cowards, so if you go in with your full force, you might not need to fight them." Heavenheart's eyes lit up and looked at La Mo in shock. It was great having such a local as his intel, and his info was much more accurate than even Long Mingzu's. After all, he was a local. Hong. Heavenheart released his aura and spread out his domain. Within 100 miles, the sound of scriptures being chanted could be heard. He stepped towards this branch. The 3 Dao Saints sensed it right away and flew out as they stared coldly at Heavenheart. Dong! Lucifer flew in the air and his body was covered in black and white energy. It was extremely thick and he too activated his domain. Their auras suppressed the 3 of them so much that they were speechless. Any thoughts of fighting were instantly diminished. They were left in despair. Why had 2 peak Dao Saints come together? "We just want to borrow the demon descending blade and after using it we will return it to you." Heavenheart smiled and said. "What if we don't lend it to you?" A Dao Saint replied. Heavenheart didn't say anything and just flexed his domain. Hong! A giant crack split in the ground. It was so deep that one couldn't see the bottom. The 3 Dao Saints of High Mountain Race blinked and said decisively, "How can we believe you? Bloodthirst Blade and Blood-letting Blade are in our hands. We want to gather all 7 to merge into the world-breaking blade to do something. Once we finish it we will immediately return it to you." Heavenheart explained. Merging the 7 demon blades. The 3 of them looked at one another. For some reason, they actually agreed. "But we would like to take a look." The 3 of them gave the same request as La Mo. "No problem." Heavenheart agreed right away. "If you can, maybe you can help us persuade the other branches. After all, we do not want to kill." Heavenheart said in satisfaction. "We won't help you." The 3 Dao Saints rejected. Heavenheart could only shake his head. He wasn't angry and only reached out with his hand. Demon descending blade. The 3 of them looked at one another and then tossed the blade out. Lucifer took it and said, "4 more." La Mo walked up. "Now, I believe that you can really gather all 7. The 3 Dao Saints were shocked as they stared at La Mo. "You betrayed our 100. One Dao Saint questioned. "I didn't. Like you all, I couldn't beat them, so I handed them the bloodthirst blade. I just want to see what the world-breaking blade looks like." La Mo shook his head. World-breaking blade. The 3 of them thought about the past. The brilliance of High Mountain Race had started with the world-breaking blade. The fall of the High Mountain Race had also started with the world-breaking blade. Since the world-breaking blade was split into 7 and lost the strength of the celestial artifact, High Mountain Race broke apart and had only become weaker and weaker. The peak High Mountain Race ruled the north and had billions of people like those in the mid-plains. But at the moment, High Mountain Race only had a few million people and they were all scattered around. Although there were many Dao saints, they fought for their own cause. Obviously, many of them wanted to gather all 7 to form the world-breaking blade. But in the past, this was just too difficult. High Mountain Race had many Dao saints, but there wasn't a single one who could suppress the rest. Now that Heaven Heart arrived, it gave them hope. After all, he promised that after he finished using it, he would return it to them. This was why La Mo and the 3 Dao saints wanted to see whether or not they could succeed. Let's go to the 4th branch. Heaven Heart smiled. With their help, things became much simpler. But as for whether or not they could actually follow through with it, that would depend on whether or not there were any strong Dao saints. From start to finish, Heaven Heart hadn't yet had a great fight. Could the High Mountain Race give Heaven Heart such a chance? Chapter 100, Building the Teleportation Formation. The 4th branch also had 3 Dao saints. But they surrendered even quicker than those 3 from the 3rd branch. When Heaven Heart brought Lucifer, Gabriel, La Mo and the other 3 Dao saints into that branch, they had a total of 2 peak Dao saints, 4 Dao saints, and 1 who had the strength of a Dao saint. How could they fight? With just a few simple words they forced them to hand over the solemn murder blade. Then they chose the same thing as La Mo, which was to follow Heaven Heart to witness the merger of the 7 demon blades to form the world-breaking blade. When Heaven Heart saw such a scene, he sighed helplessly. It was indeed simple. But he felt like this was just the calm before the storm. The upcoming 5th branch was more firm and unwilling to hand over the soul-slaying blade. Then Lucifer directly attacked, fighting 1 against 3. The demon blade forced them to retreat, and in the end, only when he placed it on their neck did they furiously hand it over. Heaven Heart did something too. He used his domain to suppress 2 Dao saints and smiled at them as they handed over the soul-slaying blade. Then they decided to follow Heaven Heart like the others to witness the birth of the world-breaking blade. The 6th branch. This was a giant city with millions of people. It was one of the largest cities of the High Mountain Race and they had 7 Dao saints. They were the strongest group. But they were the ones who were the weakest at fighting. This was because if they started fighting, the million people would be in trouble. In the end, the 7 Dao saints suggested fighting Heaven Heart, 1-on-1. If Heaven Heart won, then they would hand over the blade of destruction. Heaven Heart agreed, and then he used one move, 10,000 Buddhas. That High Mountain Race Dao saint fainted right away and had no chance of fighting back at all. Such scenes stunned the other 6 Dao saints. You are about to break through, right? A Dao saint swallowed his saliva and said in shock. Heaven Heart smiled and didn't say a word. He was indeed not far away from breaking through. This was why he was invincible in the Dao saint realm. Here is the blade of destruction. I hope you can do as you say and then return the world-breaking blade to us. Under their reluctant gazes, Heaven Heart took the blade of destruction. At this point, they had gotten 6 of the 7 demon blades: Bloodthirst Blade, Bloodletting Blade, Demon Descending Blade, Soul-Slaying Blade, Solemn Murder Blade, and Blade of Destruction. They were left with the final spirit-breaking blade. La Mo was stunned. This seemed too simple. In the past, the High Mountain Race tried so much and were still unable to gather the 7 demon blades. Now, in just a short moment, 6 of them had been gathered. Although they relied on their auras, in the end, it was still because Heaven Heart and Lucifer were too strong. 2 peak Dao saints working together would be able to clear out a dozen normal Dao saints. In the past, High Mountain Race never had such terrifying Dao saints. In the end, it is because we lost all the cultivation techniques for realms after Dao Saint. Although we can cultivate to Dao Saint, it is just too difficult for us to improve further. A Dao Saint sighed. The other High Mountain Race Dao Saints kept silent. We might be able to do so this time. Once the world-breaking blade is merged, we will have a chance to study it, to comprehend stronger cultivation techniques. We will definitely be able to bring back glory to High Mountain Race. A Dao Saint said emotionally. The other people were all filled with hope. One could say that Heaven Heart had brought back hope for them. If not, who knew how long this status quo would continue with their level of strength? Heaven Heart didn't care about their hope and he looked towards Lucifer emotionally. We lack the final demon blade before we can craft the teleportation formation. Long Mingzhu, Michael, Wu Xiener, you 3 find some empty land to build it following the blueprints. I will go get the final blade. Lucifer instructed. Long Mingzhu and the others nodded solemnly. This was the final step. If they succeeded, then everything else would become much simpler. We will help you get the final blade. La Mo stood out and said. The moment he said this, the other Dao saints nodded their heads. Since you all promised to return the world-breaking blade to us, then let us help you get the final blade. You can consider this our way of being kind to you so that you all don't need to busy yourself by running around everywhere. There is a huge stretch of black soil not far from here where you can build the world teleportation formation. We hope that you all can succeed. The Dao saints of the high mountain race suddenly became really nice and magnanimous. The 6 demon blades were now in Lucifer's hands, so it was too late even if they wanted to go back on their word. It was best if they got the 7th one for them to form the world-breaking blade. Lucifer looked towards Heavenheart. Heavenheart placed his palms together and smiled, "Thank you. Since that is the case, then we will wait for the 7th blade. We will now start to build the formation." La Mo nodded and immediately left with the other Dao saints. He left some people to watch out for Heavenheart while the others went to get the 7th blade. At this point, the animosity between the branches seemed to have dulled a lot. Everyone was waiting for the birth of the world-breaking blade. There was what seemed to be an endless patch of black soil. Under the sunshine, the black soil became really dry. There were many cracks in the ground and nothing grew at all. There were no people living here and even high mountain race members weren't willing to stay here. This was because there was no food here. Heavenheart took a look and was really satisfied. Let's start building it. The blueprints were opened and materials were taken out. They followed the instructions and started to piece the formation together. This process would take several hours. These were the most crucial few hours. The Bank of the Universe. Xiandao looked at these scenes and finally heaved a sigh of relief. We have reached the final step and can finally leave Dali Land. Xiandao smiled. 7 added, we are one step away but it won't be easy. No matter how tough the final step is, we must hold on. Xiandao's expression became really cold as he said this. The opportunity to cross worlds was right there, and no matter what, Xiandao wouldn't allow anyone to spoil it. But what he was afraid of had come. Everyone was hard at work building the world-grade teleportation formation on the black soil. Suddenly, Lucifer and Heavenheart raised their heads and looked into the distance. Heavenheart's expression became solemn and he frowned. What? Long Mixu looked and asked with a weird expression. People are coming. Heavenheart placed down the items that were in his hands and he looked at Long Mixu. All of you continue building the teleportation formation. I will go and stop them. Lucifer stood up and said coldly, kill a few more of them and they will be afraid.